muted. Hopefully the gain is fine. May have to be a bit loud because we're just using one microphone, but
I can work with that.
yeah, that's what we've been doing for the podcast anyway. Okay, we're in. Which means I actually don't need this up. It's not a show where we pay attention to the chat. I got you some links and stuff up to all your stuff. Got your Twitter handle so people can find you. And let's go. Welcome to the third episode of the Hypogeum. I am your host, The Metal, and joining me this time, would you introduce yourself, sir?
My name is Lord Pitaya. Sometimes I show up on the other things. Was on the Vomitorium. That was
you were on an episode of the Vomitorium.
That was the Skype thing that the guy disconnected and it all kind of went apart, didn't it?
Yeah. All kinds of technical difficulties with that one.
I could have joined from Skype for this one, but that would require opening Skype. So.
Oh yeah, I hate Skype. I hate the fact that we have to use it for podcasts. Once Discord gets video call,
that'll be life made.
I feel like Skype is half of the problems we have with the technical difficulties too.
Very possible. Very possible.
Because we never shut down when we're not running Skype. So let's talk about what do you do in life. Period.
What I do in life?
Yeah, I know you do a lot of different things.
Ultimately, I'm a creator. I'm into programming, visual or video editing, combo videos, which I should do more of.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for future projects. Just an overall computer guy, creator guy. I draw terribly, and then I make them look better on Photoshop. Things like that.
I know exactly how that is.
Oh, yeah. My arms have tremors, so I can't really draw, but when I have a Control-Z to save my ass, I can... But, as far as living goes, I'm a freelance computer person. I fix computers, sometimes fix phones. If it's electronic and has a circuit board, I probably know how to make it work. That's the general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
I had one guy ask me to fix a toaster. That was weird.
Toasters aren't that hard to fix, though.
They're not.
Yeah.
I was there to fix his monitor, and then he was just like, "Hey, do you know how to fix toasters?" And I was like,
"Yeah, you're gonna throw an extra $20 in there."
I mean, I can look at it. It turns out it was actually a very simple fix. It was just clogged. I just had to clean it. Like, dude, you are.
It's big. Probably people just let the breadcrumbs and stuff collect in there. And all kinds of stuff. It's like you gotta clean your stuff every so often.
Yeah, like.
I find that's the problem with most computers people ask me to fix, is they're just dirty on the inside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there are organisms that were living in some of these cases at one point or another, and there's probably some diseases in there as well, but generally speaking, just take the computer, throw it in the dumpster, buy a new one.
Buy a new one, yeah.
I'd say build a new one, but some people should not be trusted with building computers.
Yeah. Like, I know my problems are actual just obsolete hardware, but I try to keep the inside of it as clean as possible. But I think that's a habit you pick up from working on other people's computers.
Yeah.
You want to keep yours as best shape as you physically can.
Because I've got 2 rigs. I've got a main one. Well, I've got 3 rigs, technically. I've got the main one that I do everything on. I got a work rig. And then I've got a spare one so that I can put in broken parts to start diagnosing problems for other builds that I bring in. So it's always good to have a backup dummy build that works, but it doesn't necessarily have to be good.
No, it just needs to be able to tell if things function or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who do that. It's a very smart idea to have when you're basically working in that every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, first block is introduction, so we have the second block coming in. And this one, I know that you are also a moderator at a certain infamous gaming forum site.
Yeah, yes I am.
Yeah, if you would like to.
I am a moderator on GameFAQs.
Yeah.
Or Game FAQs, if you want to call it that. I don't really know. I go by Pitaya on there. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And most people who know me on there kind of know me as one of the cooler mods. I try not to be too much of an asshole as far as I enforce the rules. If you're blatantly violating the rules, I will bring down the hammer. But if you flame me specifically, I probably won't actually delete it because it's like. Flaming's against the rules, but if the person you're flaming doesn't really care, it's like, whatever. Like, I probably should,
Yeah.
But, and I probably should be saying this.
Well, this is why I'm a fan of a report system. It's like, I don't think people should just be running around getting people for just period flaming, but if the person they're flaming reports it, then obviously you should shut it down.
That's basically how we go about things.
Yeah.
Bullying, harassing is bad, obviously.
Yeah.
Some of the rules on GameFAQs that, I won't say the rules, but a lot of mods in the past, most of which have stepped down or been, kicked out, have kind of given the mod staff a long-running reputation.
Yeah, I've always liked the concept of GameFAQs, but because it's always had quite a toxic community and a lot of people tend to go overboard, I try to steer clear of that forum.
It's a good community as long as you don't, A, go out of your way to be an asshole,
and
B, save yourself the trouble and avoid
you have
some
to
of
admit
the...
it's cleaned up some
definitely.
than it used to be, yeah.
I like to believe that I contributed to that, but I probably...
just, maybe at least a hair. At least a hair,
But, so like, I regularly patrol some of the boards that I go on, like the Smash Brothers boards, fighting games boards. And I won't say I'm a board celebrity, but being a moderator that actively posts on the site gives me some kind of... Yeah,
it gives you some tangibility to the other people in the community. They know they can go to you, they know they can trust you and stuff like that, So with all that in mind, you probably see the best and the worst of a lot of people on the internet, and are, even as a human being with rational thought, you see a lot of the worst of people, period. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here on between two groups of people or two types of things, which one is worse and why?
Okay.
Number 1, third wave feminist or Dragon Ball Z fans?
Third wave feminists. Because third wavers, as opposed to the first and second
the traditional ones who actually had something to fight for.
Yeah. The third wavers are like, all men should, pay, be that with their lives or with their dicks or, whatever. And Dragon Ball Z fans are just, their worst crime in humanity is saying that Goku could beat Superman.
Oh, yeah.
That is their worst
yeah.
crime. Like, in reality, they're kind of dumb. They just like, look at Goku and Vegeta bro-fisting, looking at all the Marvel characters. Like, no guys, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Super shills, however, are terrible people.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into that.
Super is just...
Yeah.
But I think Super is a direct influence of the Dragon Ball Z fans, because I'm a fan of the classic Dragon Ball.
I'm not following it, but I just, in the Facebook chat...
I get blurbs of it and stuff.
Yeah, like in the Facebook chat, we always talk about it because, Dragon Ball. But, like, the Goku Black...
Yeah.
This, like, a time travel... His Super Saiyan color is
Rose.
Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. So now we've had all the Power Rangers. We have Super Saiyan Green with Broly, technically.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Yellow, we've had that from the beginning. Super Saiyan Blue, the Blue Rangers, and, Goku Black. We actually have the normal black hair for.
Well, I guess now you could say that, like, Saiyans are almost like third-wave feminists because they have every hair color of the rainbow.
Whoa, now. I know people who dye their hairs that aren't,
No, I know, but there are a lot of them that do.
Yeah. There's some people who just have to have the really, really vibrant red.
It's that special snowflake syndrome that comes out. Okay, here's the next one. Peter Molyneux or Keiji Inafune?
Ooh, they're both thieves.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with shit.
That was a tough one.
It is. I'm gonna go with Inafune. Mostly because I have bias for platformers.
Yeah.
I love 2D platformers. It is one of my favorite genres. Probably my favorite genre, even beyond 2D fighters. And a lot of Inafune fanboys were just, saying that, Mighty No. 9 is going to save 2D platformers, which, we know didn't exactly pan out the way they planned.
Yeah.
But also the fact that 2D platformers didn't actually need to be saved.
No, they're great right now. You still
indie
have
platformers are all
Nintendo
over the
main
place.
stuff. You've got indies on Steam and all over the place.
You've got the Standard Mario, Sonic Mania, which is just just been announced. But there's also Rayman Legends, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. But there's also the indies. Shovel Knight, Shantae, like there's
Axiom Verge,
and Gunvolt.
All of these.
It's like it's all there. It's already there. This genre does not need to be saved. And just people who are just.
Well, a lot of these people are my childhood people.
Yeah, and that's why Mighty No. 9 got 4 million plus. It's a lot of people didn't grow up with Shantae, but they grew up with Mega Man. So you take Inafune and that pitch for the Kickstarter just had nostalgia boners all over. Like, yeah, they had the metal construction hat all over the place, the red dog. It's like...
And honestly, I like Shantae more than Mega Man. I think it's just like, a better developed game.
I could tell that this was going to be terrible because it was so full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, the entire thing was just very carefully made to tailor specifically to nostalgia boners, not a desire for a quality game.
Yeah.
It had no gameplay, no anything. Like, it had a little bit of concept art and a little clay model.
It was a proof of concept, and that was it. Yeah.
A proof of concept.
Yeah.
But, anyway, Shantae's Kickstarter, or Indiegogo, whatever you use, that had a full trailer with full
even
song.
like with Ukulele too, just going on Kickstarters and stuff.
Yeah.
They had an actual tech demo to show people.
Yeah. Now, and then, even Christina V, who's voicing Shantae now, she's saying, Dance to the Danger, that song, a great song on the trailer. The only thing people bitched about was that Shantae was white. And they fixed that.
Yeah.
They fixed that before the damn thing was over. So, and I dick ride Way Forward all the time.
Oh no, I love Shantae. For people out there who haven't played it, you should start from the beginning, support the game. You can get the first GB Shantae on the eShop right now for your 3DS.
And if you want, I know Pirate's Curse, the third one in the series, is actually getting a physical version soon.
Yeah.
I believe it's who is bringing that over? Not Exceed. It was one of those other good developers that I actually like, but for some reason I'm having a brain fart. Either way, and then have Genie Hero.
Yeah.
There's
because you can get digitally between one Nintendo system or the other all of the current Shantae games.
Yeah, there's
and you can get the second two on Steam as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Risky's Revenge is on Steam as well.
It is. You could get both Risky's and Pirate's Curse on
Steam. So
Steam.
there's Shantae, Risky's Revenge, Pirate's Curse, and then soon have Genie Hero. The first three are all actually available on 3DS.
Yeah.
You can have all of them on 3DS. Ironically, Half Genie Hero is not being on the 3DS. It's on like everything else on Vita and all the consoles.
Yeah.
So, but hey,
yeah. Well, maybe if it does well,
if
it does well, they might port it to new 3DS because that wasn't out when.
Possibly, Vita and it ran perfectly on my old build. So,
well, I mean, I've got what's half a relic. I'm upgrading it, and even I can run the demos of most of the modern Kickstarter games, so it's fine,
So you don't need to worry about having a next gen console, whatever, blah blah blah. If you have a PC, you're good.
All right, well here's a good one for you, right?
Oh boy.
Gen 1ers or melee fags?
Ooh. Shit. I'm gonna have to actually go with Gen 1ers because at the very least, melee kids still play their game.
Yeah.
I'm convinced a lot of Gen 1ers haven't actually sat down and played Gen 1.
I've probably played one more recently than any of them.
Yeah, like, I'm convinced a lot of Gen 1ers who sit there and say, yeah, it's an ice cream Pokemon. Oh, by the way, this literal hive mind of eggs, one of which being an abortion, is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time because it's Gen 1.
But you would think if they cared about it so much, the sales for the re-releases on the eShop would be way higher than they already are.
You think so? And then there's also, people always trash on Garbodor because it's trash.
Look at Muck.
And then Grimer and Muck, which is literal shit.
It's just toxic sludge.
It's like literal shit. Muck being literal shit that flips you off.
Well, and they're made for the same reason. Like, Muck and Grimer are the toxic waste because of the nuclear reactors in Japan.
They're liquid pollution.
And then Garbodor's because of all the trash bags in New York City.
And but it's like there's the three types of pollution. There's also coughing and wheezing for air pollution, the garbage bags for land, and then the shit for liquid.
Yeah, all we need is an oil spill Pokemon that's not... Because, it is kind of still with Muck and Grimer, but they are specifically toxic runoff.
An oil one would probably work better. Well, actually, you could argue that a Salandit could kind of...
Yeah.
Because it's got the corrosive, it's got poison fire. If it evolves, I'm pretty sure oil will be a part of that general...
But I could also see, especially because offshore drilling and stuff with the new Hawaii base for Alola, the toxic sludge from a oil runoff would be a very appropriate Pokemon to put in there.
Yeah. And, though, back to melee fags, however, one thing I really don't like about melee players, and this isn't really necessarily melee players so much as people who are making platform fighting games that specifically aim for the melee audience.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Melee people care about, like, Brawl Out, because Brawl Out... Can I just say a few words about Brawl Out?
Yeah, you can say a few words about Brawl
That looks like shit. Like, they were saying, we're gonna go back to the golden age of platform fighting.
Golden
Stop.
Age. Yeah.
Fucking stop. I was gonna say something a lot worse, but I can't. It's like... A, it's very slow and floaty. It looks more like Brawl's physics. And B...
Not like Rivals of Aether.
Yeah, and B, half the characters just look like HD 3D models of Rivals of Aether. Like, there's one that literally looks like the freaking... The eagle. I don't remember his name, but... Like, there was one that looked just like a kind of eagle with a scarf and everything. And it's like... Seriously? Like, what? Shameless. That is the fabled ripoff of a ripoff.
And I like Rivals of Aether. I think Rivals of Aether is a great game.
It's fun, and it's like it's Melee's physics, but each of the characters have like a unique system.
So
to
there's
it.
like
really
no
cool.
clones, and it also, when you play it, Melee, you break the game to do the things like, yes, L canceling was involved, but then a lot of this stuff is abusing of L canceling and stuff.
And with
Aether, it feels like it was intended like that from the very beginning.
Yeah, and it's even on the tutorial.
Yeah,
like it even straight up uses the community names, wave dashing, L canceling, blah blah blah. But I mean, I really like it.
And I was a fan of Super Smash Land too, which was made by the same guy.
Yeah, and they had the freaking Vaporeon, which was basically turned into Orcane.
Orcane's such a cool character.
And like I love Rivals of Aether. I love Smash Brothers. I like these games, but the problem I have with Melee fans, or not Melee fans, but Melee purists, is that a lot of them have played Smash 4 and criticized it because it's not as competitively friendly. But it's like, why are you playing it? Like, why would you play a Smash game and then rate it purely off of its competitive aspects? Like, I feel that if you're gonna play a Smash game purely for like 1v1, no items, neutral stages, I think you're missing the point. Like, just
well,
stick
it even
to
goes back to Melee. It's like they have this distorted view. Melee wasn't originally intended to be like that.
Right.
They changed the game to work the way they want. So why don't they just change Smash 4 to work the way they want?
I remember watching that Melee documentary about one dude, I don't remember his name, but he's like, we perfected Melee. And I was like, dude, you are so full of shit. Like, no, you didn't perfect a goddamn thing. You just discovered all these glitches and decided to use it for your metagame. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But, I mean, play the game however you want to play, whatever brings you the most joy. But for the love of God, stop saying Brawl and Smash 4 are terrible just because
That's what I like about games that have options like that. It's like taking a solid clay block. The clay block is not imperfect in itself, but then you have the option of molding it into however you want. That's why they have all those options.
And I really love Project M, because not only does it bring you the best of Melee and the best of the competitive nature and actual balance, something Melee completely lacks, but it has a lot more, I won't say fan service, but, a lot of things that a lot of fans have been wanting in Smash games. For example, like Bowser's Castle, alternate costumes. Bowser's Castle should have been a stage in Smash since Melee.
It should have.
And the fact that it's still not, it's technically part of that Paper Mario stage in the 3DS version, but it's, Like, no, that's not good enough. We need a Bowser's Castle stage, and it actually works in Project M.
Well, that's my problem's like, because they give you the custom stage options and stuff, but they're not really good options. You can make some cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
I made an entire game within a game doing it. But what they should have is they should offer a program where you can import your own made stages for offline use only.
That would be a logistical nightmare for a number of reasons. Not to mention it would not be user friendly.
Yeah.
A very small minority. I remember I was having a conversation with somebody in my Discord. They wanted a Sonic Maker. Like Mario
that would be even harder.
No. It gets worse. It gets better. Instead of, how Mario Maker was 2D, this guy wanted Sonic Maker in 3D, and I was just like, dude,
Sonic 3D games are already a nightmare. Why do you want to start making your own?
But it's like that's the thing. Like, A, there's no way that interface would be able to actually be user friendly.
Yeah.
B, you might as well just go to mods.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're already that tech savvy enough to want to learn this engine, then I mean, you may as well go all out. Go balls to the wall. Have fun. Like, if there's no point in limiting yourself. Like, Mario Maker is a good concept.
Well, my idea would be more so that it would have, like, all the standard stuff that you would have in the Stage Maker.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to take up value in the game with the Stage Maker.
Yeah.
But then also allow you to import your own assets if you are savvy.
It would be good, but again, it kind of comes to
Yeah.
We might as well just.
It's not something that's necessary. It'd just be a cool thing if they did it.
I think.
But I think Nintendo needs to pick up mod support. There's so many other people that are doing it.
Well, I mean, look.
Nintendo has a lot of other problems too. Yeah.
On that note, Nintendo has its head so far up its ass as far as what the fans want and even communicating with fans. And I've been ranted about this morning, like.
Yeah, I know. I saw it too.
Yeah, like Nintendo has absolutely, they don't care what the fans have made. They just want, like with Metroid, like.
Which I'm glad I downloaded when I did.
Well,
you can still get it. It's just you have to go through.
Yeah, I still have a link to it, but like, it's like with Metroid. They want to sell. They want Federation Force to be the 30th anniversary celebration. And
it's kind of late for that, too.
Not only did the Metroid 2 remake actually make the anniversary date, but it's actually good.
Yeah.
I have played enough Federation Force to know that it is not my cup of tea, and it was not the cup of tea of pretty much anyone who actually likes the Metroid series conventions.
Yeah, like, I'll probably enjoy it, but not as a Metroid game.
Exactly. Like, you can easily enjoy Federation Force. It's very similar to, like, a first-person shooter take of, like, Monster Hunter. You have, like, 4 people, you're
and doesn't it come with that free Rocket Ball?
Yeah,
Rocket League
the
thing
Metroid Ball, Metroid Blast, something like that. I don't remember. But they showed that off at the new Nintendo World Championships. Yeah. And nobody knew what it was. It's like, oh, it's so cool. And they're like, oh, hey, by the way, this comes with this
and then
Metroid
they even try to like sell it to you more. It's like, oh, you can play as Samus. Not really. You just have to have an amiibo and you get a skin.
Yeah,
for
and
Samus.
I don't even have the Samus moves. Like, I'm not a really big Metroid fan. Well, I mean, I'm a Metroid fan, but I'm not like a super duper.
You're not hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I appreciate a good Metroidvania.
Yeah.
And I appreciate a good Metroid game. Metroid 2 Remake, which I beat last night, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of games that can take the 2D and go into 3D, and Prime did that very well.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to backtrack. I even think Hunters did it really well as well.
The problem with...
I would have been fine with the Hunter sequel.
This isn't a problem with Prime, but they gave it to a Western developer.
Yeah.
And now that Japan wants it back, basically, with, like, Other M, and then it's like, Other M did not do anywhere near as good as the Prime games for obvious reasons.
It had nice mechanics, but there's just...
It was a good... I won't say it was a great game.
It's a good idea.
It's like...
that went wrong.
There's something about holding... It makes you hold the Wii Remote sideways. And then you have, like, 8-way movement. So you have the little D-pad that just... For all of it. And then you, like, aim it at the screen for, like, shooting missiles.
Yeah.
It's a novel concept, but again, it just goes back to, how Nintendo, especially in the...
If you could just use the classic controller and aim the reticle with the second stick, that would have been great.
That'd be great. But, Nintendo just has it set up its ass. And this happened all over the Wii. Like, Donkey Kong Country Returns, that's probably the most glaring example. Because this was supposed to be a throwback game, and yet the only controller that you could not use is the classic controller.
Yeah, it's much better on the report for the 3DS.
Yeah, the 3D port is much better because it doesn't have the...
This is the one I recommend people play.
And Tropical Freeze is perfect too because it doesn't use that shit. And, like, Retro even, like, straight up said, like, if you're not using the gamepad, we're turning that shit off. We're not using that fucking
I think another big problem too is they need to bring back some type of... like how Nintendo Power was. And, like, print magazines, they're not as good anymore, but they could do a website for this.
See that
we used to have user write-in and stuff like that, too.
No, the best part is Nintendo actually found out about the Nintendo Power archive and shut it down.
I mean, I'm glad I have a whole archive of them in there, but...
Yeah, it's like, Nintendo is just... We've gotten off topic, but TLDR, Nintendo, if you're watching this, which you're not, but I wish you would. You would.
Mm-hmm.
Would.
Well, and a big problem
take your head out of your ass.
A big problem is how bad international trademark laws are, but there are good ways of circumventing this, like Capcom has done with the Street Fighter Cross Mega Man.
Yeah,
like they just need to have a system to where they can stamp their seal of approval.
Yeah, like I understand the importance of protecting your IP and basically saying this is ours. You can't use it.
Because if you don't fight stuff, you lose the right to fight for it.
But I think that I really like how Sega actually approached Christian Whitehead because he was a big Sonic Retro fan game maker, and he's responsible for all those great mobile Sonic 1 through Sonic 3. I think he did Sonic CD as well, the mobile ports.
And then he's also leading Mania, right?
Yeah, and he's also leading Sonic Mania, and which looks phenomenal. And I figure, hey, if Nintendo wants to really gauge interest in a new Metroid game, don't do it with Metroid in name only.
Put your stamp on this guy's mod for Metroid.
Yeah, like
2.
get a partnership going.
Yeah.
Like get that fan game on the Wii U,
That's like the whole purpose to Capcom Unity is to engage with the fans and stuff like that, and that's how the Street Fighter Cross Mega Man came through.
And Nintendo has forums; they just don't use them. Like
they should have they should bring back the moniker of Club Nintendo and use it for user submitted stuff.
That would be great. The Nintendo Fan Club 2.0. Let's go. Let's bring it back.
And then they can even, if they have time or the guy makes it that way, whoever's making this stuff, they can even put it on the eShop as a free download after that with a Club Nintendo stamp on it saying, hey, look, a fan made this. Have a free game.
Actually, that would actually work for, redeeming, points in the new My Nintendo account.
Yeah. Just,
use, little those silver platinum coins.
And get more people to play your Miitomo game because then people want to grind for points more often, And it's a win-win situation for everybody.
That would...
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we've been getting off topic. I'll probably cut maybe one or two at the end.
No, keep it going. I got time.
Yeah, okay. So, Ubisoft or Konami?
Ooh!
Yeah, see, I went with an easy question at first to give you this, false sense of this is going to be an easy area.
Actually, that's easier than you think. I'm going to go with Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, yeah.
If nothing else, Ubisoft can actually make games right now. Because Konami is dead in the water.
So you're saying Ubisoft is better?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm asking which is worse here. So Konami's worse. Okay.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Konami's worse because Konami basically went out of its way to shit on the only person that actually matters to that company.
Yeah. Because everybody else had left years ago.
Because Konami has 3. Not counting pachinko and shit that I wouldn't really be an expert
But they're a
on.
holdings division, and games are just a part of their holdings division.
Well, yeah, but as far as games go, there's video games, arcade games, i.e. Bemani. Bemania, Dance Dance Revolution.
All their rhythm games and stuff like that they have a monopoly on when it comes to arcades.
Yeah, and then number 3, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And...
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh's not the only one, it's just the only one anybody cares about.
Yeah, it's the only one that matters. Yeah. And I don't think they have much in the way of video games now because they got rid of Kojima, which was the stupidest thing because this is a man who can I don't know what it is about him, but whatever has his name on it succeeds.
Yeah. He could sell sawdust to people and they would buy
could.
it. Yeah.
He is the only man alive who can get an entire audience of people hype for Norman Reedus
holding a fetus.
For naked Norman Reedus holding a naked invisible oil baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
In the middle of nowhere.
You want to know how you get a bunch of grown-ups, completely straight males applauding Norman Reedus's bare ass. Put Kojima's name on it.
I wasn't even hyped for them. I would have loved to see some type of gameplay or more proof of concept or anything.
That's all you need.
But everybody in the crowd was just wailing.
And I think that's not necessarily a really good thing because Kojima has his share of fanboys, and it's not like he's a can do no wrong kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure the game will be interesting if nothing else, but I think a lot of people got a little too.
But with him left, pretty much any success that their two biggest properties of Silent Hill and Metal Gear could have even have.
Yeah. I think, I don't know really what went down between Konami and Kojima, but whatever it was, Konami didn't play it very smart.
Yeah, and I know they still have full rights to Silent Hill, but I know they're actually battling over the Metal Gear because he has joint rights of that game.
Yeah, and even then, what are they going to do besides Pachinkos? Are they going to actually make a Metal Gear video game?
They did recently say...
I know.
And I know the reason on that, too, is because Japan put even more laws out against gambling, and Pachinko starting to follow that. So now everybody in the Pachinko business is losing tons of money.
And that's why SNK is coming back to fighting games.
Yeah.
But
so they have to make video games now.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to do what they did with Contra and license out to third parties to handle their games and stuff.
So Konami is just dead in the water. Ubisoft, on the other hand, their Assassin's Creed games aren't exactly interesting anymore. Watch Dogs 2 looks like a huge improvement over the first one that I might actually get.
I was excited for Watch Dogs when I first saw the first trailer, and then I saw the gameplay later on.
And it's literally like
watered down Assassin's Creed in
even
the cyber
the UI, because it's it had that Animus feel to it, and it's just this looks and then the Wii U port kind of made me hype. It's what if I can use my gamepad as the phone, and it can actually but no, they didn't include that.
And they were supposed to have like the smartphone connections and everything and all the other devices.
And I don't think they actually managed to do that.
Yeah, I felt like the Far Cry Primal did a better job of being a different time era Assassin's Creed than Watch Dogs did.
Yeah. And also Ubisoft, it made a Trials of the Blood Dragon, which automatically apologizes for like all the shit that they've done for the past 2-3 years. It's a great game, by the way.
Yeah, well, I did not like Far Cry before 3. I don't know if a lot of people did.
I'm not a fan of Far Cry. I'm not much of a survival shooter kind of,
But Primal, I thought Primal was really good.
I haven't played Primal, but I have played Blood Dragon.
Yeah,
and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is probably my favorite Ubisoft game to date.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god,
It's like sometimes they know what they're doing, and then sometimes they completely throw it out the window.
It's like an 80s VHS of just pure manliness, action, stupid crap, and it's like, this game was made for me.
Oh, and I think the other point that you have to give to Ubisoft, too, is they're starting, slowly but surely, and they have been for the last few years, bringing respect back to Rayman.
Yeah.
Because Rabbids nearly killed that franchise.
I'd like to see a third one in the vein of Origins and Legends, but I do kind of want to see a revisit to the 3D platforming.
I would too, yeah.
Cause
maybe even to see if people want it, make a sequel to Tonic Trouble as a, test the waters thing. And if people like that, Rayman's going to sell in 3D.
Yeah, I kind of want them to go back to... I don't know, maybe I'm making some of the Sonic games can kind of like go from 2D to 3D on a whim.
That would be cool too.
It would be interesting. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see how they do that.
Or the only good thing I like about that game, even though I'm not a fan of it altogether, I did like how Super Paper Mario played with the whole 2D.
Yeah,
3D
I really like Super Paper Mario. I'm in the.
I have a love-hate relationship.
I'm in the minority because Super Paper Mario is my favorite Paper Mario game.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of platformers.
I like platformers too.
I prefer platformers. I'll take a platformer over an RPG any day. And I love Paper Mario. The N64 one, I actually like the first one more than Thousand Year Door. I know.
No, I'm the same with that one. The first one's my favorite Mario RPG.
I know a lot of people are gonna give me a lot of shit for that, but
yeah,
Super Paper Mario, I loved it because
I actually like it more than Super Mario RPG, which is a very unpopular opinion.
Okay,
no, I mean everybody's allowed their own popular opinions.
Yeah, you're allowed your wrong opinion.
Mm. Not that I don't like Super Mario RPG, I prefer Paper Mario.
Fair.
Yeah.
Mario RPG was my childhood. Nah, I'm not even gonna lie. Anyway, next one.
Okay, next one is... What was worse, the death of Tech TV / later on G4 TV, or the death of game trailers?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna do kind of an option C here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that the death of Tech TV, not necessarily G4.
Well, G4 was kind of the death of Tech TV.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel that.
I just have to put that on the end to let other people who don't know what Tech TV was.
When Tech TV died, or when Tech TV was a thing, these were actually very. I won't say. Well, yeah, I'll say obscure. Like these. Nerdy shit was not exactly something you'd see on everyday television. Nowadays, it's a lot more common. You see people talking about video games and,
It was so obscure that people don't even know that the actual name of the show was Extended Play.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. This is back when X-Play was good. Don't get me wrong, I still get nostalgia even for,
even the later stuff, because it was okay
but
at
I saw
first.
Adam Sandler and Morgan Webb at E3 this year.
That was great.
I will admit, I got a little nostalgic, if not just for Adam Sandler.
Well, I liked that whole show. There wasn't a lot of stuff I'd buy from them.
Yeah.
But then they dropped Quake. And I'm like, I have to play Quake. I love Quake so much.
I just think that, Tech TV... And even G4, because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love Code Monkeys.
Yeah, Code Monkeys.
That was like one of my favorite fucking shows. But
I have because I don't advocate piracy, but if you can't find it anywhere, it's not on Netflix anymore. It used to be. I have an archive of both seasons of Code Monkeys.
Yeah.
So I can watch it whenever I want. I would love to buy it on DVD, but they're so hard to find.
I didn't even know they made them.
There's like a few copies circulating. You used to be able to buy it off of the G4TV.com site.
That's gone now. So.
Yeah.
Oops. Well, to the Pirate. I mean,
yeah.
No, I can't mention Pirate Bay.
But at the same time, like with the death of game trailers, it feels like online news journalism has no standard anymore. Because game trailers really, it wasn't always greatest, but it did set the standard for games journalism.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really, I didn't follow GT that much, honestly. Most of my gaming news was actually through there was a gaming news Twitter feed way back when I actually used Twitter, and it had, Kotaku, and, other things that actually matter in life.
Mm-hmm.
Polygon, GameSpot, IGN.
Well, this thing, too, like, especially with Kotaku, and there's a lot of, like, the Gawker Media stuff. Before their parent company started standardizing all the sites to be exactly the same in their formatting, the earlier versions of them took heavy note from game trailers and inspiration, and they were the standard of what games journalism was.
Yeah. I just never really bothered with, games journalism that much. I just got news. I didn't bother with opinion pieces. I never really bothered with reviews. I'm just like, give me release dates, give me trailers.
And that's what Games Trailer did, though, for the most part.
Oh, yeah. But, other sites had just trailers as well. And
they were also the ones that gave a lot of these bigger companies now, like these bigger YouTube channels and stuff, their startup as a platform before YouTube was a thing.
Yeah. But
I think YouTube's what really killed them in the long run.
Probably.
Same with G4. I think both of them in the long run got killed by YouTube.
It's possible. I don't know. I've never.
You look at XPlay, right?
Yeah.
And you look at, well, this is a once a week thing. And then even when they started going daily, they just could not keep up with the instant information that was coming out.
Because A, it wasn't live, and B, it wasn't 24/7. It was whenever. I think one of the main problems with, XPlay and, any other, daily or weekly video game news show is that obviously the news is going to break long before you can. Yeah. It's a lot of things with games journalism is being there, being first to write something up.
And they weren't a news channel, so unlike Fox or whatever, you can't have your breaking news that comes in the middle of segments.
And also with G4, I think one of the things I really did not like about G4 were just the forced skits.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them just kind of...
And they started... funny. They started cutting the content people like I liked Cinematech and stuff, for stuff that adults like that aren't necessarily gamers, cheaters and cops started coming into.
That's something else with G4.
It stopped being Tech TV's successor and became the Esquire network.
It became, we want to be Spike TV so hard kind of thing. Like, it was very... I won't say dude bro gamer oriented, but I won't not say dude bro gamer oriented. It's a very late teen, early 20s, always in the basement kind of gamer.
Yeah,
honestly, like it was a very like Cops 2.0 and cheaters and
oh god, all that stuff.
Like I get the appeal of those shows, but how is this in any way, shape, or form related to gaming?
It should be on Spike or something else, or even Spike shouldn't have that because. Spike really went downhill. It used to be very oriented into guy stuff.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think Cheaters and maybe Borderline Cops 2.0, but Cheaters not guy stuff. That's chick stuff. They were trying to bring in more of a female audience. But Spike used to be the guy network, and even then they had a higher standards. Like, okay, we're going to put in guy movies, like action movies, comedies and stuff. We'll have our guy shows.
Yeah.
The man show late at night and stuff like that. But then they even started slipping downhill because they were trying to widen their...
I think a lot of what ultimately kills a lot of larger networks and channels is this obsession of increasing their audience while in the process alienating their core audience, which leads to the core audience just going to somewhere else, you have...
And then the other audience that wants to come in still doesn't like everything, so they'll just go somewhere else that gets all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's that whole principle of... In a society with lots of options, it pays more to be specialized than a jack of all trades.
Yeah, pretty much. Though I don't think I actually answered the question.
Yeah.
I think the one that affected me personally the most was the death of Tech TV.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, this one I think I already know the answer to, but the lack of multiple T options in restaurants, or the disparity towards fire-type Pokemon.
Oh, man. Whoa. See, I thought this was going to be an easy one, but... Jesus. Alright, this is such a me question. Jesus.
Well, I mean, the show is tailored towards the guest that's on,
but...
so...
Alright, so, the lack of fire types seems to be less of an issue, at least in this gen.
Than it used to be,
yeah,
especially,
because
too.
not only do we have Salandit and the fire starters, which were leaked to look really fucking cool,
yeah,
but we also have Alolan Marowak, was just announced today,
yeah,
and it's a ghost fire.
See, I was hoping it would be something else. I understand Ghost Fire can be a good type. I'm just personally not a fan of Ghost Pokemon, period.
Well, see, Ghosts actually get the shaft, too.
Yeah.
Like,
there should be more.
Oh, definitely. And I think Ghost Fire is a really good type. You know, it's two of my favorite types.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Chandelure. Like, Marowak, you make that into a kind of a... I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell if he's going to be like a physical or a special kind of...
Yeah.
Come on, because, you know, he's got the bone, but there's, like, fire on both ends. But,
Fire Twirler.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But, I think that fire might actually get a good showing this time because there's the 4 different elements. There's, you know, fire, water, electric, grass, and they all have their...
They're all there, and it's mostly because, you know, Hawaii's got that stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii has a lot of freaking volcanoes, and, you know...
It's the only place, which is why, even though I don't like the design, I appreciate what they did with Vulpix and Ninetales, because it's one of the few places where you have snow-covered volcanoes, because most of them are dormant.
Yeah.
And they have the climate that you could go straight from snow to barren rock to tropical forest all in an hour.
And I'm okay with the Vulpix and Ninetales going ice.
Yeah.
I saw the Japanese stream before I saw the English one, so I thought that it was actually Ice Psychic to Ninetales, and I was really hyped. And then found out it was Ice Fire, and I'm like...
See, I would have liked Ice Fire. That would have been cool. It would have been a weird type, but it would be cool to have one, you know?
Man, that like, Rock would fuck it up.
It would. Stealth Rock, dead.
Oh, yeah.
One shot.
And it just... I like the idea of a fire-ice type.
I just wouldn't use it in battle.
It's like, I think a lot of the reason why I don't want a fire-ice type specifically is because Kirby 64's fire-ice ability was like the single worst mix in the game. Because it was just... I love Kirby 64.
When are we going to get a refrigerator Pokemon?
We did. Wrote him.
Oh, okay, an actual Pokemon that's always a refrigerator.
Oh, well,
You go from, like, an ice box into, like, a full-fledged, refrigerator, like a cooler.
You know what? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
It'd be stupid as all hell, but...
in the best way.
But I would support it.
But I also like that we're getting a legendary that's the first fire-water Pokemon. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
Steam
Volcanion.
right there.
And then, we're also actually, I saw the new Pokemon, Korokoro leaked. There's this, like, a Ghost Ground Sandcastle.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, more ghost love, more fire love.
Yeah,
I like this.
The first game, Ghost shouldn't even have been a type. It should have just been, like, Poison Psychic with their own special move, because there was only one evolution tree for Ghost Pokemon.
Not to mention the fact that there's only, like, one actual Ghost attack. I mean, there was Lick and Nightshade.
Yeah.
And Confuse Ray was Ghost, but it wasn't, you know...
Limited to Ghost.
Yeah, and it's like Nightshade couldn't be super effective, because it just did HP based on what level you are. But Lick was like a 30-40 base power move. And Ghost actually was not strong against Psychic.
No.
A lot of people say it was. But here's the thing. Like in the anime, Ash went to Lavender to get a Haunter to fight Sabrina.
But Gen 1 was messed up.
Which logically made sense, because a lot of strategy guides actually suggest this. Get a Ghost to fight Sabrina. Thing is, not only are those Ghosts but, Lick is actually, option against an Alakazam, or, God forbid, a Mewtwo, was Jolteon's Pin Missile.
Yeah.
Because not only was Pin Missile's accuracy, like, 75, but it's one of those hits, you know, X amount of times. They can hit anywhere between 2 to 5, and if it hits 2 times, that's not going to do much. It still won't. The only
You're hoping for at least, like, 4.
And if the first hit is a critical hit, all the rest of the hits are going to be critical. So you basically need, in order to one-shot Alakazam, you need a Jolteon, use Pin Missile, hit 5 times, each of them critical hits.
Which isn't that hard for the critical part with Jolteon, because for some reason critical was based off of your agility in that game.
So if you do agility and then Pin Missile, you might be onto something.
Yeah.
But there's still a fair amount of RNG, not to mention.
And then nobody even tells you that is a viable strategy, because nobody played the game, so now we find that out years later.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Gen 1 shit.
Gen 1 is just...
How did we get to... Oh, right, the lack of fire types.
Lack of fire types, yeah.
I'm gonna... What's worse, I'd actually say, would be the lack of fire types, because with the lack of different flavors and kinds of teas at restaurants, it doesn't really matter to me, because if I'm going to a restaurant for tea, I'm actually probably going to get sweet, like
probably going to like a chicken place or something.
Yeah, like I'm probably going to get like iced sweet tea if I'm going out to a restaurant, because in my experience, most restaurants, sit down or fast food, have terrible hot tea.
Everybody is replacing everything with Gold Peak these days, and I hate Gold Peak tea.
Yeah. But, like, I have my own tea selection at home.
Yeah, same here.
And my collection is actually, sufficient compared to, what all the restaurants might. But I can't just make my own fire types and throw them in the game. So, the lack of fire types
you'd have to make a mod at that point, and then what's the point?
At that point, I might as well make a full-out fan game. Like, I might as well, bring back my middle school fan game ideas and just bring it to life.
We've all been there.
Yo, man,
can't even be ashamed of it anymore.
Next question.
Like, we've all been there.
Let's not talk about it. Next question.
Okay, here's the last one for this segment. People who genuinely think that Zelda is the playable character in the series, or those who think he should be a girl because equality.
Well, alright. So, I don't think that Link should be a girl necessarily. I don't think I would object to, with Breath of the Wild, taking so much inspiration of Western RPGs.
If they made an option.
Yeah.
I wouldn't object to an option
That
either.
would be fine. But I think just deciding up in one day, making Link a girl just for the sake of saying there's a female Link, I think that one of the things that bugs me about this, and this kind of goes back to the one of my problems with the third wave feminists and hashtag equality, is a lot of them are making them black or girls or whatever minority here just for the sake of inclusion in minority. They don't really. It's like a lot of their character development is revolved around their minority, their status.
Which destroys the narrative.
Yeah, like there's say you have a black guy, a token black guy, and he's either A, stereotypically black beyond black, or there's a girl that's just let me reiterate that. So a main character in a game can be most of them are white males.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are not perfect protagonists. A lot of them are, everymen, they're flawed. Some of them are prone to stupid mistakes, stupid decisions. If you put a girl in that position, if you put a female character in that position where she's shown as vulnerable or dumb...
And people start yelling at you.
Yeah, because it's okay if the guy does it. Because, whatever, okay.
Yeah.
But when a girl does it, suddenly it's like, well, you guys are painting women to be weak and fragile and... Like, but when we were painting men to be weak and fragile, you weren't painting men. It was just a fictional character. You're not.
It's like, well, this girl's a fictional character, and that's my also problem too. Like, going back to token minority stuff, when you have games that have multiple people of the same skin tone and skin color, you'll have one that's just like a normal person, and then you'll have one that's more towards the stereotype and stuff, and then everybody will start picking on that one. It's like, no, but that's just how that character is. This other guy's not like that in the same game, It's like, you can't have individual people anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, if I know a person who's just like that in real life and I designed it based off of that person, it's racist. Like, but no, that's a real person I know in real life.
And I think, because, I am, in my group, I'm one of the very few white people.
Yeah, well, we went to a predominantly black school.
Yeah, well, yeah, but this is also my,
Katrina thing.
Yeah, but this is also my, online group, too.
Your online group as well,
with, Don, Josh, Gio, all those guys.
Yeah, all those guys.
And they're very black.
Yeah.
Stereotypically, to the point where we literally call ourselves the Coon Squad. And that might sound racist as, a white guy saying it, but
they say it too.
But A, I didn't come up with the name, and B...
You're in it.
I mean, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to tell them no?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be racist?
It would be racist.
Like,
and you're in the squad, too.
Yeah, it's like...
You are one of them.
I'm basically the team dad. Like, it's like...
I don't know what to do with it, yeah.
I either allow it and then, say that, why is that guy in there? He's not black. That's racist. Or I can call them out and be like, why are you telling those black people what to do? You're racist. That's not your word. Sorry, buddy.
That's why I'm for full freedom of speech in all circumstances.
There is a line. Like, you
well,
don't
there's a line, but
like,
everything should always come from social consequences, not any other form of it.
Like racial and sexist slurs, obviously, around your group of friends in private, it's fine.
Yeah.
Make it public and start calling random people them, and no, that's not fine. But to be fair, calling random people... Anything is kind of...
That's why I don't see a problem. It's like, yeah, sure, you grew up on it. Everybody called each other a faggot in the 90s. It's just a word that we used. And even though there's a lot of gay people that still use it, too. But, like, that's something you say in front of your friends. I wouldn't call a random stranger that I don't know a faggot for any reason. I wouldn't call a random stranger I don't know an asshole for no reason.
I want to bring this back to third wave feminists and just general Tumblr people.
It always goes back to that.
No, here's the best part. True. No, here's the best part. If I call somebody a faggot, gay people are much less likely to be offended than straight people.
Yeah.
Like, everyone who gets offended at somebody being called a faggot, usually straight.
Yeah.
I've noticed this. Like, same with, like, racial slurs. Like, white person says, nigga. Like, I know this is live. I know
I don't care.
I don't give a shit, though.
Yeah.
Like, a white guy says it, and... honestly, I have actually seen quite a few white people get more offended than my black friends.
Like, they don't care.
Why Most are you getting offended? Shut the actual fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, this is that Tumblr...
special snowflake, I gotta be offended at everything.
And it's like, remember that white guy in the crowd? You're a straight white... And you're not?
Yeah.
Buddy.
And he's like, I know I'm a punk.
It's like, you're a straight white male. Like, hey, how about you go
the sad part, even like using Tumblr example. Tumblr wasn't always that bad either. I remember when it started up. It was a good platform when it started.
It was good. It was good for blogging and porn, and now it's good for blogging, porn, and
for a year and a half, and then the Tumblrettes came in.
Yeah.
Tumblerinas.
That's
the word I like the most. The Tumblerinas. But then I feel bad. Because then there are an actual thing called tumblerinas, which are a type of gymnastics, and then I don't want to group you with these horrible people.
Yeah, I used to call them tumblerinas, and I just started calling them Tumblrites because it just sounds better. But to answer your question, I think people who just want the female link just for the sake of saying that we have a female link are probably worse.
Because the other one's like an ignorance.
Because if people say that the main character is Zelda. That can be drawn up to just standard ignorance and not having played the games or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But people who claim that they want a very specific choice made are clearly fans. Are clearly people who actually play the games. Either that or they're just Brianna Wu and other people
Anita
like
Sarkeesian who doesn't even play video games.
Yeah, those individuals who I will personally not name.
Oh,
Brianna Wu's a bitch!
I'll drop names any day. I don't care, man.
So, but anyway, I don't like Brianna Wu because when the Street Fighter V, I think it was Street Fighter V trailer, she was all like, "Oh, I'll play fighting games with all of you boys. It's just as much of my genre as yours." And I was just like, "All right, let's play Blaze Blue." And then she blocked me on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? You're gonna block me on Twitter, fine.
Blaze Blue, it's a game that actually has good diversity without having to inject it in there.
Yeah, like there's
In fact, just Arxis is good about that period.
There's a lot of anime tropes, but it ends up being a lot of diversity
because of that.
Yeah,
like you have what people call traps. It's like but sometimes these are people who are genderqueer. Sometimes these are actual transitioned people and stuff. You've got people from different nationalities and stuff, and they don't force it down your throat. These are just the way these people are.
Yeah,
and they often don't even impact the narrative too much unless it's their whole purpose, like Bridget's trying to reclaim his manhood and stuff like that, which the first step would be changing your outfit.
Yeah, you'd think that would be the...
But that adds to the comedy, so...
But to answer the question, the people who want a female link solely to say they have a female link are worse. I think that it's fine to want a female link, but just for the sake of just, more equality, I don't know.
You know it's equality, it's nothing... Some people want it for identification, but no, it's not solely for that. Because look at us. One of my favorite series is Tomb Raider. Do you think I can identify with a rich white woman who is very attractive and comes from clearly a Mediterranean descent? I can identify with her need for adventure, though. That's the characteristic I'm truly identifying, not these physical attributes that have nothing to do with what the character really is.
I think, though, instead of a female link... I think a lot more people should be asking for a Zelda game where you actually play as Zelda.
Yeah.
Because
that isn't a CDI game that's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Wand of Gamelon was alright.
At least it wasn't Faces of Evil.
No, see, Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil are the so bad it's good territory.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Zelda's Adventure is so bad it's worse.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that's the...
I would say Wand of Gamelon is slightly higher than Faces of Evil, though.
Well, okay, so Zelda's Adventure... Okay, Link, Faces of Evil, and Wand of Gamelon are like the droids in the Ewoks VHS Star Wars specials. And then Zelda's Adventure is the Star Wars Holiday Special. Like, you can say what you want about it.
Yeah.
That doesn't change the fact that it was wrong. That it was bad and it should never have happened.
Like, it's got redeemable qualities of being so bad it's good, but it's still wrong.
No, it doesn't. Zelda's Adventure is just so bad it's worse.
No, I'm talking about the
yeah.
There's some points that you can't help from cracking up at how bad it is.
Yeah, but...
No, not Zelda's Adventures. That, I would never redeem that at all.
Zelda's Adventure is a game that I will never play ever again. I played it solely just so I can say I've played all the Zelda games. I have it.
The only way you could get me to play that again is if I was doing a charity live stream and that was what everybody donated for.
Man.
Because it'd be for a good cause. It's like the only way.
I wouldn't even do that. I'm just like, you know what? Give me a good game, please.
$10,000 to charity, I can't deny that.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but I probably wouldn't subject myself to a community vote because that could lead to all sorts of bad things. It can,
yeah.
And the last thing I need to do is, like, actually seriously take a game of big rigs over the road racing.
Or get penalized into playing Sonic Boom.
I don't know about that. See, Sonic Boom Rise of Knuckles is a good game. Okay, it's
you can get anywhere you want as long as you've got patience.
Yeah, and that's the patience I have.
Yeah,
kind of, not really.
Oh, what I would like is because they've toyed with this concept, but they only really did it once and not in a great way. The game was still good, but it wasn't a great way of doing the concept. It was in Spirit Tracks. I think there should be a way to have an actual co-op game where you play as Link and Zelda at the same time, and not to have to be co-op, maybe in like a Donkey Kong country type of way.
Because I know you can technically do that in like Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
But obviously that's kind of limited.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see them flesh out, but then again, there's also like Triforce Heroes that have kind of done the work together thing.
Well, I love the co-op games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would like to see one where you can actually co-op with different characters that bring their own unique taste.
Yeah.
So you have to work together.
Like, I'm not sure how it would work, but like I'd be down with like a Link and Zelda and Ganondorf teaming up somehow to fight a greater evil. Like, it's kind of touche.
Power of the Triforce versus some crazy thing.
Yeah, like it's cliche, but
at this point, especially with Bowser joining the team with Mario.
Yeah,
and stuff,
I think the thing is the Mario games. The Mario characters are kind of like actors in a play.
Yeah, no, that's true. But Bowser does typically play the bad guy.
Yeah, whereas with Ganondorf is just the unrelentless king of evil. So
he's like Hitler.
There'd have to be something really, really big.
Ganondorf's like the only person that you can actually equate to Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even really say that. I mean, yeah, he has invaded, different realms and taken it over, but
he has performed genocide on people in that realm, too.
Though, in his defense... Well, okay.
Okay, what defense? The fact that he's just a dickhole?
Well, look, if you were cursed with immortality and were basically born solely because another dude had a grudge...
Yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed, too.
Yeah, I mean...
He's literally the incarnation of anger. I mean, let's...
But even going back to Demise, I mean, we could say Demise is more like Hitler. Demise was just trying to kill everyone.
Well... I don't really know what the hell Demise was trying to do, because, he only had, like, a few lines of dialogue at the very end. Like, he spent most of the game being a huge freaking black blob with overgrown toenails.
Because you're like, how does he even get to that? Even with a curse or, like, imprisonment, how does he get to that state?
Like, what? I still want to know what the fuck are those toenails. Like,
I know.
Bruh. Like, come on now.
Well, he can't clip them, he doesn't have hands.
Oh, my God. No wonder he's so pissed off.
Yeah, I'd be too. I'm stubbing my toe on everything, jabbing my toenail into the inside of it.
And then, Link's nice enough to come on along and, cut him off. But then, he just grows them back and then tries to stomp on Link. Like, wow, what a dick.
Yeah. Well, he can't talk either. Maybe that's just his way of telling him, like, cut them off again.
Kind of like how
maybe he's just the misunderstood guy, and that's why he's this incarnation of hatred.
You know what? I roll with this.
Headcanon.
I roll with it. I accept
He just wanted his toenails clipped.
I just realized I was wearing, like...
And Hylia was a dick.
I just realized I'm wearing, like, 3 different Zelda things.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be, like, the non-Zelda fan here. God damn, I fucked that up. So much for kayfabe, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, we all know that what I learned isn't canon, so...
Well, but a lot of your viewers, I don't imagine know me as the Zelda guy because I never really made it that obvious.
A lot. You get tagged in the post and stuff like that. A lot of the people that might watch this will probably be mutual friends of both of us.
True.
So they'll know that you're the Zelda guy.
Oh yeah, but like I'm saying, like from a an outsider perspective, like if some random person were to stumble upon these videos, like I am the biggest Zelda fan I know, and I'm probably the biggest Zelda fan that anyone actually watching this knows, and so on and so forth. But that's what made that video so great.
And now we're in time for the third block, which is the open-ended questions.
Oh.
And these ones are the same for everyone because they're just questions about life and stuff like that.
All right.
So the first one is, what is your ideal job?
What is my ideal job?
Like, anything could go your way.
A project manager for a bunch of game ideas that I have circling around in my head.
See, I would like that too.
Like, I have a fighting game that's, I have a Mugen prototype for 2 of the characters going on, but they're really crudely drawn sprites. Yeah. It's very, very, very WIP. I would not actually show this off for the life of me. But, it's called Lab Rats. It's, a game where, a lot of
Not related to that shitty Disney show.
Anyway. It's inspired by, like, Skullgirls and Blaze Blue. Like, it's a very Air Dasher.
Yeah.
And all the characters are based on people either I know, or, like, either me. Like, my self-insert OC Donut Steel is in there, along with the OCs of a lot of my friends. A lot of self-inserts. And it's just kind of an exaggerated version of all of us, just in a very sci-fi. It actually takes a lot of inspiration from your story for the X Dynamics.
Yeah. For those mutual fans of my other stuff that don't just watch TMTV, it is very much like X Dynamis Chaos in similar ways.
Because in that, I have a character in that story named Pitaya, and I have my lab, and I'm this huge wrestler scientist person, and that's basically how I'm portrayed in whatever people use my likeness for.
Yeah.
And that's kind of brought over to.
Which again, if you ever want to use that picture that I drew of the character, that's free to use.
Oh no, I've gotten.
I know you got other stuff. But I'm just like for shits and giggles or anything like that.
But and there's other people in X Dynamics Chaos
that are also based off of friends of ours.
Yeah,
and stuff
like
that.
Cavi in that he's also in the Lab Rats idea that I'm kind of throwing around. He even has the skates that you gave him that I gave him, and
That's funny because like we keep bouncing things off of each other.
Yeah.
At some point, they should just be alternate universes of each other.
It's looking like that, honestly.
Because I thought like you liked your gauntlet idea so much that I figured, well, I'll give him a different type of gauntlet that achieves some of the same goals for the recent episode. But instead of like, I try to come up with a more scientific means behind it, so it actually manipulates the values of heat and energy in the air around it to be able to do stuff like that.
And that's pretty much how it works in my...
Yeah.
And then there's also another friend of mine, Kei Mikado. He's not working on it anymore, but it was like a Final Fantasy VIII fanfic kind of thing, but it was like his own squad, and I was in there.
Yeah.
And then I have my, gauntlets and the general scientist, big guy.
Well, I know a lot of this stuff, and especially because like self-inserts, comes from people who used to do fan fictions, because I used to write fan fictions myself and stuff, and at one point I just got tired of writing stuff in other people's universes, and I figured I might as well just make something of my own that's completely original. I've got the talent for it, why not?
Yeah, and that's like Lab Rats has started as a novel.
Yeah.
And then I decided to kind of envision it as a TV show, like an animated TV show, and then do a fighting game. And then back to a novel. And then now I'm back to fighting game. And it's like... Because, most of the characters in the game are capable of some kind of superpower feats. So I figure, they can all fight. Why not have them fight? But, it's just really hard to, I don't know. That's kind of what I'd want to do. Not necessarily short term.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to see that reality eventually.
Yeah. Which I would like to help with, too, as much as I can.
Yeah.
But...
And I know David's up to help, a couple other people are up to help. I just, right now I kind of want to flesh out a lot more ideas and actually get to a point of financial stability where I can actually kind of fund development.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
I'm trying to get that same point. I'm actually trying to take the first act of X Dynamis Chaos draw some pictures for it, compress it into an ebook, so if people want to support it, they can get it in that form. Especially the parts that I put online, I even said this was the idea from the beginning. I intentionally did not fully proofread that stuff. So if you want the final version of it, you can go to the ebook just as a form of incentive.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of people like us out there that we have our personal projects that we need to find funding. And it's not easy getting the funding for it until you build up an audience that wants it.
But, as far as short-term goes, I wouldn't mind, I like where I am now, It's like just very stress-free. Sometimes it can be a bit of an adventure.
Yeah.
Because, you deal with different people every day.
And like that, too, you're also doing a lot of the same stuff I am. Content creating and doing freelance work and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like, I also work very odd hours. It's not uncommon for somebody to want me to come in at like 2, 3 a.m.
Yeah, which it's also not uncommon to maybe some days get up at 2 p.m. because of odd hours and stuff.
So I have a non-existent sleeping schedule, but I'd like to have a sleeping schedule. I'd also like to sleep. We can't all have what we want. So, alas.
Yeah. But it's the way it is. Just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure those long-term plans come into fruition. So, who is your biggest inspiration or influence?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather?
This man is he's a bit of a cornerstone to my life. I'm not sure if I'd be alive if it weren't for his, help and counsel back, from the middle school days where I was
basically taking up the role of a parental figure that
basically
you needed.
My mom is a great mother, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But she didn't exactly have an iron grip on me.
Yeah.
Like discipline me in her defense, disciplining me was nigh impossible.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Because, I was bigger than she was by the time I was, 9.
Yeah. Oh, my problem was more I just didn't care.
Well, there's that, too.
Yeah,
I had anger issues. I didn't care. I knew I was stronger than her.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I was very smart and crafty. So, normally she'd, ground me by, taking a cord off of my game system or something. And just think that she'd come home and I'm not playing it. But I have a spare cord in the closet. And I'm playing it when she gets home just to piss her off.
And then later it comes to the point that everything uses the same cord, so you could just take it from something else and plug it in.
Yeah, and she's not very tech savvy. She never really figured that out.
Yeah.
But, she tried.
Yeah,
and she's the best mother that I could have ever asked for. And my grandfather took up, he's helped me and my mother financially all of my life. And, I live with him.
Yeah, that's your current residence right now,
too. He's... 80, 81.
And he's very supportive. We've had several parties over there that he lets you throw and stuff.
And he's
a really good guy.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of our peers, a lot of our, liberal, pro-freedom people tend to hate, Christian conservatives because, old people, racist, yada, yada, yada. My granddad is an old Christian conservative white guy, and he breaks every single one of those stereotypes.
Well, no. He breaks the stereotypes because he's actually like that.
Yeah.
Most of the people are hypocritical to a flaw.
He's a leader of the church to the point where he's kind of a maverick. Like he's actually has had to bulldoze his way into the church just to get them to do some youth programs or outreach. Because the rest of that church is very old fashioned. It is stereotypical church. But my grandfather,
I've done a visit there before. I know the church.
Yeah, because I had a couple tournaments down there, and he's a really good man. He's very supportive, very helpful. But
going back to that point, when people see Christian conservatives, they see people from the bad wave during the late 80s throughout the 90s. And they don't see the point that the actual fundamentals of it is that conservatives want the government and everybody to stay out of each other's business as much as possible. And they would rather there be social repercussions for things. But social repercussions are fine. You can just ignore that if you find a different social group. And they believe in tolerance and forgiveness at the core values. It's just most of these people are so hypocritical that it's a horseshoe of effect of embodying the far side of the other one, too.
Small government, unless it has to do with women's bodies, which we want as big of a government as we can get.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, to keep from getting too political.
Yeah.
My grandfather is a very good man. I love him. He's wise. He's pretty clever. I've actually inherited a lot of my humor from him because a lot of people do not believe me when I tell them that he is just as big, if not bigger, of a smartass as I am.
Well, and he makes a mean stroganoff.
Yeah, he's he's a smartass.
Yeah.
And he's very stubborn, and I've taken most of my core values from him. My snarky humor, my general stubborn, it all comes from him.
But I think that's also why so much of our local in-crowd likes him so much. Not just because he lets you host stuff there and stuff, but because when they see him, they see you. So the things that they like about you, they also like about him, and they get along with him.
Yeah, he's he's very tolerable. He's very open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things. He's when push comes to shove, he's very serious. He's very to the point.
Yeah.
But generally, he's laid back. He likes to laugh. He likes to have fun. He doesn't like to have to stress. And he imparted a lot of core values that I hold dear and inspire to eventually actually get as I grow older.
Yeah. And that's good too, especially like from a mindset of what parents want in their children and grandparents and stuff. They would hope that you encompass the best of them without as many of the flaws as possible.
Yeah.
That's the point.
A lot of people either A, didn't use the tracking, or B, don't really care to use the tracking. They're just like, oh, well, it's still playable, it's fine, it's a free app.
No, I didn't use the tracking or care about it, but I'm still complaining about it. Because,
and there's people who I'm not going to name, but if they're watching this and the shoe fits, fucking put the shoe on, jackasses. Anyway.
Actually, take the shoe off so you're not like that anymore.
Well, yeah, that too. Get a new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
You can get some nice ones at Kohl's, I'm sure. Or if you want to, be cheap, you can go to Walmart and get like a $10 pair of shoes. Anyway. Where was I? All right. So a lot of people are, they see criticism like from like me or whoever, and they just kind of boil it down as a man children crying. And it's like, no, I'm giving this negative feedback because I want a better game for all of us.
Yeah.
And
now, I don't believe that means you shouldn't argue about feedback, but that's a healthy discussion.
Definitely.
It should go back and forth.
Yeah, like if you're just gonna dismiss the criticisms as people being crybabies, and that just means you don't have anything interesting or anything valuable to the conversation. You should shut the hell up. But with Pokemon Go specifically, a lot of people like to dismiss that it's just a free app. Why are you complaining so much about a free app? I've lost weight from this game.
Yeah.
I have driven places I would never drive, like various parks. I've driven all the way out to Addison.
Really good for society.
Yeah, like I've driven all the way out to Addison, and by the way, it is bustling out there. Like the Addison Circle Park, there are people out there. There were kids selling drinks. There were.
Which is weird because last time I was in Addison, which was only like 2 years ago, it was dead.
Yeah, like that. There was this. The whole park was crowded. They had people selling T-shirts. We had freaking someone from I think Domino's, catering pizza by the slice. Like, this was this huge community. Like, holy shit.
Like Nintendo. But get more apps like this that actually work to get people to do that.
For real. But, like, I think my problem with that whole get over it mentality is that, A, it's not really, to me, it's not a free app. Because, I have put $10 into the game, and I see it like this. Mm-hmm. Every 10 pounds I lose, I put $10 in. Yeah. I've lost... Right when I hit the 10 pounds lost mark, I put in $10. It's that simple, and I'm going to keep doing that until I hit an ideal weight.
Well, and you also have to look at time is money. And
that and gas money.
Yeah.
It's like driving to Addison and back is well over a gallon and a half. It's not much, but it adds up if you do it every day, every other day.
So you have to look at what is the return am I getting on this money? What return am I getting for this money?
And I also bought a portable battery charger, which I wouldn't count as a Pokemon Go thing, but I'm only using it for Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna keep my phone out and let it overheat in 100-degree weather. If I'm not playing Pokemon Go. So far I've spent, counting gas, I've spent probably over $100.
Yeah, which is more than you've probably spent on most other games that you've played this year.
So it's like people keep saying stop complaining about a free app. Like, kids, this was not free for me.
Yeah.
Now, if you play it for 5-10 minutes a day, basically while you're bored at work or while you're on the toilet or whatever, that's fine. You do you, more power to you, play it the way you want to play. and let me play the way I want to play.
And then, like, I don't remember exactly because I wasn't paying attention, but then they were talking about taking away some features that actually did cost money that people had already paid on, like incense and stuff like that. I don't think they went through with it.
I don't remember that. I know that
they were hinting at it though.
Well, there's a lot of ways to get refunds.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a glitch where the catch rates are lowered and the flea rates are increased from wild Pokemon, especially like small shitty ones like Pidgeys and Rattatas, swearing that they're suddenly fucking Entei or some shit. And if you waste a bunch of Pokeballs on there and you've bought Pokeballs with real money, you can actually complain to Apple and Google and they'll actually refund your money.
Yeah, okay.
Same with like instances, like if you run an instance and then the server goes down right as you do it, like you have a case to get a refund. And Apple's been issuing refunds, 24/7.
Well, that's good of Apple. Yeah,
and Google's been a little more anal about it because a lot of your criticisms are not criticisms, but a complaint will go to a quote unquote unmonitored inbox. Which is breaking Google's terms of use. But I digress.
And honestly, like, it shouldn't have to go through them, though. They should be able to go straight to the company that runs it, Niantic.
No, I think in Niantic's defense.
Yeah.
Their former game, Ingress, only had like 10, 15 million.
Yeah, I'm not blaming them for the server load stuff.
Yes, the server load's understandable, but I also want to slap the shit out of whoever thought that tracking should be server-side. Yeah. Because, it should be client-side just because, look, I understand that, I appreciate that you want to, kind of, decrease, or reduce the limit, or the capacity of the cheaters.
Game. Yeah.
But it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, like,
We've already unlocked the API. We have access to all the codes. We can get in, and while we're in, it slows the servers down. So you may as well just make it client side and be done with it because people are gonna cheat anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well make it so that it doesn't kill the servers.
And even if it's client side too, it's like I understand too that they don't want it client side because that also means there's gonna be slightly more data on your phone and stuff.
Well, not necessarily because it's still having to go from the client side of your phone to the server. And it's a two-way communication.
Well, it's the same through traffic, but it's more memory to have it run.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. See, the client side, we're going on a tangent. Yeah. Give us a sec. So the client side is your phone, and it supplies the server with your GPS location. Yeah. The server tells the client phone where the Pokemon are. So it basically has you're here, this Pokemon's there, connect the dots. Now, phones in this day and age can play connect the dots.
Oh, they can play. Yes.
You have the 2 dots. You have the 2 points on a grid. It knows what direction it needs to go and how far and reach them. And that's basically how tracking would work.
Yeah.
It knows exactly what direction and how far away it is.
Looking at the code, the way the tracking works is based on their maps of the area, while everything that happens on your client is based off of the GPS and hooking up to your Google or Apple maps of the area.
Not necessarily, because yes, but that can overlap.
There are ways of reducing it. I'm not saying it's absolutely going to be that way, but when you look at it straight up front, their idea is we're trying to reduce memory of installed data on your phone. We understand you want to have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, though I think the main thing is, I have the entire DFW Metroplex map downloaded.
Save data, I do
for
that
offline
too.
use.
Yeah.
So not only would that be an issue for me, and also the map data is really fucking small.
Yeah, I don't know why.
If you're already using it as a GPS, you're already using enough data at that point. You're already using enough data and a lot of battery power.
And if you're going to use it as a GPS, you should have an offline version of your map, period. It saves your data.
Yeah. So it's like you have 2 dots. We have more than that, but one Pokemon and then the client side location. Phones can do that.
Yeah, they can.
And it's an algorithm. It's literally connect the dots. You don't need a server connection to connect the dots. As long as you have the location of the Pokemon, which is server side, there's already 2-way communication.
Yeah.
It's already there. So you might as well make it client side.
They should. I'm not arguing against that. I'm just saying I'm looking at their reasoning,
Well, their reasoning is stupid.
Their reasoning is stupid, but I mean, look at most game developers and some of their stupid reasonings for things.
Yeah. But
look at DLC practices these days.
But also, I don't really want to say this, but I really want them to bring in the Gen 2 update just because it'll weed out the Gen 1ers.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be the best thing ever for server.
It'll be the best for server, but I don't want it at the same time because there's a lot... Because you know a lot of Gen 1ers, right?
Oh, yeah. And most of them just get off the bandwagon and keep...
Typically, the ones who do that... sometimes they can be jocks, so that's not the problem. But typically, the gamers who are Gen 1ers tend to be overweight, and I'm talking like even more so than probably you would have.
Though,
so I really don't want them missing out on exercise. I really don't.
Well, I think that ultimately is their choice.
It is their choice.
Like, you can still just go for the Gen 1 Pokemon. The Gen 1 Pokemon aren't going to necessarily leave. You could just ignore the Gen 2 Pokemon.
Yeah.
But, again, I think it's also a good way to kind of introduce...
I think they should have a swipe to dismiss Pokemon thing.
Yeah, that would be nice. I kind of wish I could, like, filter out the Pidgeys and the Rattatas, because...
Especially when you buy a lure, and, like, a bunch are popping up, and you're trying to click on the Parasect or whatever, but there's a bunch of Pidgeys there.
Yeah, like, aside from... Okay, Pidgeys and Caterpies and Weedles are good when you, like, doing the Lucky Egg trick.
Yeah.
You pop a Lucky Egg, get, like, 60,000 experience if you just evolve all of them in a row. But... At the same time, I kind of want to, I don't want my phone to vibrate only for it to be a Pidgey.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm looking for, like, something cool, like, a Magmar or Snorlax, something I don't, exactly see every day, I'd like to not get my hopes up when my phone vibrates. Like, I'm, when I was in...
See, what they should do is they should let you limit the vibrate to Pokemon you're looking for.
That would be nice. I would...
Like, have silhouettes in the Pokedex already, and you could just click on the ones you want to vibrate for.
I would be down with that.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good, choice, though. I just wish it was easier to just find some of the rare ones. I think that I really wish the 10K eggs were more common.
Yeah.
Because I've had 4 10K eggs so far. 2 of them were Eevees, 2 of them were Pinsers, and both Pinsir and Eevee are all over the fucking DFW Metroplex. I have like 80 Pinsir candy right now.
See, what I'm waiting for is I don't even care too much about battling because we have the gym battles, so there is an aspect of battling. I don't care about the one-on-one as much. Yeah, that's it. That's the one feature I really want in the game is trading.
Trading would be nice because I have a friend who is basically saving me a Magmar.
Yeah.
Because I'll never fucking find one.
No, not with your RNG.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what? I just had one of my friends saving me a Magmar.
Yeah. Well, and also it'll reignite the turf wars, because once you can start trading Pokemon with people, then they can give you Pokemon to start attacking gyms, and then you'll have groups of people attacking gyms. It'll add another level of team affiliation, because now you're going to start giving Pokemon to your teammates and stuff like that. I think that could be the best update for the game, and they need to get that through, as well as fixing the tracking. I saw a post, I couldn't tell if it was fake or not, I didn't read too much.
The one where they had the Pokestops?
Yeah.
That's real.
That is real.
A very small number of people have been given an actual pseudo-competent tracking update. Thing is, it only works for the nearest Pokestop, so if you're like in an area where there aren't that many Pokestops, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, I could see a few from this point, but the actual closest one is the church across the street here, which, as a point you've made on Facebook several times before, and I've noticed as well, if you're in Texas or anywhere in the Bible Belt, with how many churches there are here, majority of the Pokestops you see until you start going into open malls and stuff are all just churches.
Yeah. There are 3 Pokestops in one gym that I can see from my house.
Yeah, one of them's a church I used to go to as well.
Yeah, the gym is a church, and then 2 of the stops are churches.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then the other one is like something out of the neighborhood park. So it's just like.
Yeah, what is it? There's the Crossroads, the mega church, right?
Yeah.
You know where Crossroads is. I passed it. Crossroads is a gym, and it's Team Mystic. And I'm just thinking, if that's Team Mystic now, that's probably because there's a ton of Mystics that go to that church,
probably.
And nobody will ever be able to take that gym over.
Yeah, there's I've seen so many great billboards though.
Yeah.
Like there's a school billboard that's like, you gotta catch them all before school starts back up. I'm just like, damn, that's.
Yeah.
Though it's funny because in Richardson,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the name of the middle school, but it's off of Huff Hines Park and Recreation Center. That's a Charmander nest.
Yeah.
And you can like take laps around the school literally, and you will catch Charmanders.
See, I need Charmanders.
Well, you can get your ass to Richardson. But and they change every month.
Yeah.
The nests are changing every month, so it won't always be a Charmander nest. But I can only imagine like how hard it would be to maintain phone anything if your school was a Charmander nest point.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, you would not be wanting to pay attention in school. You'd want that Charizard. And, but Pokemon Go has been really good for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good physically and mentally. Because, as I've said, I've lost weight. But I've also had, conversations with people that I would probably never have any reason to talk to.
Yeah.
Like, I was at the Oasis restaurant off of Joe Pool Lake.
I love Oasis.
And
yeah.
that's a good...
The whole marina's great over there.
Yeah, but there's a stop on there's a Pokestop up there, and it's like always Lord, and it's really great for like Magikarps and Psyducks. But
or if you actually go to the other side of the lake, there's Nest for Dratini. All the time.
There's also one out in White Rock Lake.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a conversation with these two kids, and I think one's like 10, the other's 12. They were very vulgar. Because I was actually keeping my language intact. It's just like, oh, these are kids. I have to like talk with my kid vocabulary. But then I just saw these people just saying, fuck, shit, faggot. Like, oh.
Yeah, see, like...
And then I remembered now I said much worse when I was 12, so...
Well, see, when I don't think I started really cursing until I was, like, 15 or whatever. But, like...
High school does that to you.
My problem, like, one of the reasons I didn't curse is because it felt like there was peer pressure to it, and I do not respond well to peer pressure. And once people stopped caring, that's when I started cursing.
Yeah.
But when I was a little kid, or like anything under 12, I didn't say like shit. I didn't say anything.
Oh, the irony.
I think hell was like the worst word I would ever use, and most of the time I would say heck. And one hell of a guy.
Yo, Donkey Kong 64 was hype.
It was.
Like, man, Battle Network 2. Mega Man Battle Network 2.
But like...
Ooh.
So when I go online and I play shooters and stuff against these kids, and they're cursing, like, these guys have to be the vocal minority. Kids aren't like that because I wasn't like that. Yeah. And then I walk on the streets and they're everywhere. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, they've gotten pretty vulgar.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was vulgar as hell when I was that age.
And you'd think I would have been because I come from a family where they have mouths like truckers and sailors, being up from New Jersey and stuff like that.
You do now, so I mean.
Yeah.
You cuss now.
Not as much as most people, but I do. I'm not going to say I don't, And a lot of times I will do it for emphasis.
Yeah.
Or for showmanship, like on a show or something.
Fair.
I probably curse more when I'm doing Let's Plays or doing stuff on what I learn in than I do in regular conversation with people. Even people I know.
What was the question?
The question was, what pisses you off more than anything? And it was people who settle for mediocrity.
Yeah, settle for mediocrity.
And people like that we don't get change.
Yeah. We went off on another tangent. But with, like, Mighty Number 9.
Mm-hmm.
We can go back to that for a second. Inafune straight up said it's better than nothing. And a lot of people who, played and enjoyed Mighty Number 9 kind of have the same kind of feeling. Like, it's not great, it's not bad, it's just there.
Well, you can enjoy something that's mediocre, but that shouldn't be the standard that you hold.
Yeah, like, I played Mighty Number 9. It was easy as hell, beat it in a day. Very, very simple. No challenge whatsoever. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was literally just there. Like, it did not feel like there was any soul put into it. The voice actors just seemed like they were there to get, lunch. Like, they weren't even there for a paycheck. They were there for dinner.
Yeah.
They were there for scraps. They were not there for a damn thing. They were not there to make their resume look good. They were just there because Inafune must have, hired hookers to suck their dicks.
No, they were probably there because Inafune sent out the opening. It's like, oh, it's Inafune. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the whole thing. Because his name has more buzz than it should.
It does. But...
I mean, shoot, I have a shirt from SGC where I got a bunch of people to sign and stuff. It went down in value because of Mighty Number 9, because right in the center is Inafune's signature. No. And I don't care about value, I care more about the memories, but still, there's just this stain of Inafune's signature right there in the front of the shirt.
That's a damn shame.
I know.
Like, cut a hole in it? Just...
It's right on the image, though. I don't,
Okay, never mind. Well, I guess you have to deal with it.
And, what's funny is I have a friend who was there, too, who got, was one of the, I think it might have been Legends, but it was one of the, oh no, I think it was X. It was the Super Nintendo game, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And he got that. He brought the cartridge and got Inafune to sign it. And I'm like, that cartridge is probably worth less now than it was before you got it to sign it.
Nah. I mean, Inafune, I'm not saying he's a good person.
Yeah, he's a businessman. Most businessmen aren't.
He's a businessman, not a creator. Kamiya was right this whole time. But
I was laughing the first time he put that because I figured he was right.
I mean, I knew he was right.
Yeah.
Like he's a businessman, not a creator. I mean,
and it's the exact opposite.
See, here's the thing: he hasn't actually been anything more than a special thanks mention in Mega Man game credits since like Mega Man.
Because he has had no input on them except for getting them sold.
Yeah, he's just there. He made the characters, and that's all he did.
And you know the only input he had on the first one, really? The thing that got taken away? The high score system. He's like, arcade games sell. We need to include this into the game.
Yeah. I mean, he used to be a creator.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how like a Sakurai. Well.
No, Sakurai still is a creator. He puts so much hours into
everything. Like
you can't compare the two at all.
See, Sakurai's like the other extreme where he puts too much input into it, where he really needs to let his team do some things.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Inafune, Mighty Number 9 could have been a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
And
well, I think he suffers from the opposite problem that Kamiya has, because Kamiya is a very creative guy. He's great at what he does, but he's not very good at the business, and they could be way more widespread than they are, but he just does not do the business things they need to be doing.
He's his own PR, and it's like, it's funny.
It's funny, I love it, but he could be doing so much better if he had some business people working with him as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I think as long as his games don't really have...
As long as they don't plummet, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but I mean...
They're doing okay. They're doing well for themselves. It's just not as good as they could be.
I kind of wish, Platinum... I'm not going to say Platinum sold out, but they have split off into a main team.
Yeah.
And then, like, a spin-off team.
Mm-hmm.
And the spin-off team, they made Metal Gear Rising, which is one of my favorite games of all time. But...
It's probably the best Metal Gear game.
You're not wrong. But they've also made, that really very, very, very average Legend of Korra game.
Yeah.
Transformers was alright.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
TMNT was terrible.
Yeah.
Was just beyond any...
And I was trying to tell people this too. Like, I like Platinum Games main games.
Yeah.
And, like, most of the stuff that Kamiya's worked on.
Bayonetta 1 and 2,
yeah.
Wonderful 101.
I don't like a lot of the main characters to those games, but I like the gameplays themselves. Which is why I don't care if I can identify with a character. That's not why I'm playing a video game.
Right.
But I told people who were ragging on, oh, it's going to be great. It's a Platinum game. It's like, look at the people developing. It's not even the same team. It's a different subgroup of Platinum games.
Yeah, they have Team A and Team B.
Yeah.
And a lot of people...
I like Team A. Team A is great.
Yeah. I think a lot of people really ignore that, these development teams have, Team A's, Team B's.
They could be like that for any developer.
Yeah. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, this amazing developer is working on this game. They made this, and this, but they're making that. It must be great. No. That's not how it works. But, back to mediocrity, like, I'm not saying every game has to be 10 out of 10, but I'm also saying, put some heart and soul into it.
Well, and also, it's the point of criticism and free speech. And this is the whole reason why games journalism should have been a thing, but has plummeted because of, you know, corruption, like anything else. Things don't have to be perfect, but if they're not, we need to be able to criticize them.
Yeah.
So that we can move towards a better standard.
There's also no such thing as a perfect game, honestly. I think a lot of people, like, I don't want to single this franchise out, but the critics have absolutely dick-ridden the Uncharted series.
Oh, yeah,
I love Uncharted, don't get me wrong.
I need to play through it again.
Like, it's fun as, like a fun little...
Yeah.
Duo...
Because I've only ever played the first one, right?
Like, Nathan and Sully have really, really good chemistry as characters.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a buddy cop, but not really, They're buddy hunters. And, they're basically ordinary people in extraordinary situations. They have that,
old, I'm cynical because I've seen all this shit guy, and the young, I need to do this stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and it's perfect from a storytelling and cinematic perspective. There's a lot of laughs to be had, and a lot of fun, a lot of things to enjoy. But that's from a cinematic perspective,
not from a gameplay perspective.
Exactly. Everyone gives these games nines and 10s, and it's like, but explain to me why this is a 10 out of 10 video game and not a 10 out of 10 movie.
Like, I couldn't even get to the point at first, and I needed to play it because I found out later it is much better later on. Because if I were to base it just off of the opening mission, the very first, where you're supposed to be learning everything, it is one of the worst tutorial levels that I've ever played in a game.
Yeah.
And I would have given it a 2 out of 10 based on just that level. But everybody's, no, it gets much better. The first level sucks.
It gets much better. The thing is, though, it's like, the first one is slow, the second one is very slow, the third one actually kicks in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I've not played the fourth one. But, like, it's a matter of just...
But it's like any media. The beginning is what sets your standard if you're going to enjoy something.
Definitely.
So if you can't get hooked from the beginning, why bother playing the rest, you know?
Though, I kind of have a grudge on Naughty Dog now because it's like taken this gameplay element out of their games. Like, they used to, bring in, the big guns. You had Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter. And I didn't really like Jak 2. Jak 3 was like the apology.
Yeah.
And, those games were good. And I love Uncharted, don't get me wrong, but it's just so... Where's the gameplay?
Yeah.
And then The Last of Us, which kind of takes away the gameplay and the fun. It's like, I don't understand why people love that game so much. Like,
I did not enjoy it.
Like, it's very linear. It's not in any way, shape, or form. I didn't feel like I was in any kind of...
danger, ever?
No, there's no danger. There's no urgency.
Yeah.
I feel like I could just, casually just, waltz my way on through the apocalypse. And it's like, I don't feel that that's...
Especially, like, if you need anything during the earlier portions before you start dealing with people who have guns and stuff and it's just the infected, you could just send your little escort to go do it. Because
nobody could detect her.
Yeah.
Like, she was just like the sweet little precious thing that must be protected and never eaten. But, there's also, speaking of sense of urgency, though, there's also that zombie game, what was it? It was like Sony's E3. So that redneck dude that, like, I don't remember what it's called. Like, Days Gone? What's it, Days Gone?
Oh, you mean the thing that everybody's pretty sure is a sequel to the same game you were just talking about?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Days Gone.
So there's something I noticed, because these zombies were running and doing, like, not parkour, but they were, like, climbing. And I noticed that the character actually... the zombies were, like, right next to the character, but they didn't actually do anything. So I noticed, it's like, where's the urgency? Because, yes, these running zombies look terrifying, but when they actually catch up to the player, they're not...
Yeah, it's not like the
anything.
running zombies in Left 4 Dead where you have to be, like, running and shooting the whole time.
Yeah, like,
you're fucked.
they weren't doing anything. They weren't biting them, they weren't clawing at them, they weren't attacking. Nothing was going on. So it's like, where's the urgency? Where's the danger? Why should I feel like I should be running when these guys aren't doing anything? And I believe... I don't really believe, but I was told by people who believe that this was just like a build for people who weren't good at games to show off so that, the demo wasn't cut short.
See, I don't think they should do that.
I don't either, because it makes the game look neutered.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you be showing us this, dramatic, high-intensity, high-stakes zombie chase scene, but make it so that we see the zombies get right next to your character and not do a damn thing.
Well, see, that's the thing that gets me too, right? Talking about difficulty. The fact that they are catering so hard to difficulty levels for casual audience and stuff now, and most of the people that they're catering to who say they want easier version of the games don't even play the games. They're the same people who would rather just watch somebody play the game on YouTube than play it themselves. So why are you catering to an audience who don't even enjoy the game?
Honestly, I think that these, and that this is kind of an outlandish suggestion, because I'm kind of winging it here.
That's fine. We do it all the time here.
With, like, games like Uncharted and, Days Gone or whatever, I think it might, I think it might be a good idea for Sony to just start, putting, like, Blu-ray versions, like, the movies.
Yeah.
Just, like, make them so that it's, like, maybe not, like, preset gameplay, but kind of change the gameplay elements, or take them out entirely to just kind of weed them into, like, a 2-3 hour movie.
Or, like, what they could do is, for people who really want it, right? They really want it. Instead of putting a Blu-ray in there, or something like that, because again, I don't think we should be catering to these people.
Actually,
I think they should put a day one, like, $1 or $2 DLC that unlocks all the cinematics from the start.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, because I just kind of casually realized this, if you put it in a Blu-ray player that isn't a PS3 or PS4, it'll just automatically play a movie version.
Yeah.
Like,
which would be a great way to do it, yeah.
Of course, then you'd have people who use PS4s as Blu-ray players, but then I guess it would just have on the video tab.
Yeah, you just pick which tab you load it up from.
Yeah, but that would work on PS3, PS4, it'd be a little different, but
yeah.
It wouldn't be that hard to manage.
But I think, like, instead of just catering to people, if you want to watch, like, a movie, just put a day one. I'm against day one DLC normally, but in this case, day one, $1 to $2 DLC, they can make more profit from just cutting the game out and letting you watch all of the cinematics.
Make it a little more than that, just because you wouldn't. Make it so that you don't need the game.
Yeah.
Just, put like a $5 little whatever on the store. Just
like a standalone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, then you'd have to worry about people just, watching it from YouTube, but then you could just, throw out all these DMCA takedown notices.
Yeah, they do it anyway, so why not?
Hey, get some money out of it.
We should probably move on to the next question.
Probably, yes.
These are kind of similar, so I'll combine them just for the sake of time.
Okay.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be? And if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I would definitely, about myself, I would change my metabolism.
Yeah.
Like, losing weight is hell for me.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Because I'm not gonna, go in on, my disorders, but...
Yeah.
Needless to say, my metabolism is fucked. From A, genetics, and B, childhood of being fed, very high-calorie desserts every day.
And because I know you were trying even Insanity for a while, and it really
wasn't helping. The problem with Insanity and P90X is that you don't want to do those while you're fat.
Yeah, because they're not meant for burning fat, they're meant for building muscle.
So now I'm kind of in that weird
You need to
shape.
be doing a lot of cardio.
Yeah, it's like I'm in that weird shape where I have a lot of muscle, but there's like a layer of fat
over the muscle.
And it's like, I'm strong, but I don't look strong.
Yeah.
And it's just... So
you need to be doing a lot more
I did everything wrong, and I'm not paying for it, but the results aren't visible.
You want, yeah.
Like, the results...
You have to, like, especially, like, I know this is a problem because I've helped people with personal training and stuff with some of the freelance things I've done in the past, is when you have a slower metabolism, you kind of have to reach this peak of in-between normal life and survival state, because normal life, you don't lose any weight. In survival state, your body actually restricts the weight you lose because you're in survival. So you have to hit, like, this sweet spot in between the two.
I don't really get that survival state, actually.
Yeah.
But it's like... There are times where my body just refuses to, burn. But, given enough...
Well, that's why I tell people that you can't cut your calories too drastically.
Yeah, fasting is the single dumbest way to...
Because you won't lose weight.
Yeah, because your body, you need calories to burn for energy. So if you don't feed yourself calories, you don't have energy, and you basically just, you're a bear and you hibernate.
Yeah, and your body goes into, like what I said, this survival state.
And bears don't really lose weight when they hibernate.
Yeah.
So...
Of course, bears don't even really lose weight. You look at them; they're mostly muscle. They just look really.
Yeah, they're fucking bears. I mean, but honestly, I just like a sped up metabolism or even normalized metabolism. Just
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do everything right, but then results are just so slow, and that's normal. Because you're not supposed to lose 20, 30 pounds in a month.
No.
A lot of
unless you are past this certain point. Basically,
like if you're
above 200 something pounds, it's easier to lose weight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Until you hit like that 170 sweet spot, and then it's hard.
Oh man, see, because I'm way more on 170.
I know.
But
it's harder to get past that 170 point than it is above it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors.
I'm tall. Yeah. I have broad shoulders.
So you actually carry more weight, too.
There's a lot of muscle that you don't really see.
Yeah.
So, obviously, that's a lot of weight. Even if I don't have a whole lot of fat, I still have a lot of weight.
And there's another problem, too, especially because muscle actually weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
It's just you can build more fat than you can muscle on a body. Unless you're, like, one of those drug-pumping bodybuilders or something.
Not about that.
But... The problem with all these programs and stuff, too, is they'll tell you this will be effective, but people are individuals, so what you need is, like, a physician to come in and give you like a dietitian thing.
Yeah, there is no...
Everything's personal.
Yeah, there's no one-size-fits-all program.
And that's why people hire people like me to come in to help with that, because I can sit there, I can spend a couple days with you, I can learn your habits, I can learn how your body works and stuff like that, and then I can start diagnosing, okay, this is what you're going to need to start doing, this is what you're going to need to start doing.
So a lot of people, I know some people are, constantly whoring out their Herbalife or whatever.
Yeah. It's
I'm not going to name names, but... Anyway, they pretend that, the science has come up with this perfect dream miracle one-size-fits-all,
but it's
yada, yada,
pseudoscience,
yada,
because
yada,
actual science
yada,
tells you the opposite.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So, supplements are great, vitamins are good, all this stuff is important.
But they're supplements. They go with
things. Like, you want exercise, you want a diet, and that's what Pokemon Go has been so great for me.
Yeah.
I've run around public parks for fucking Charmanders. I looked retarded.
Yeah.
But it was worth it, because now I have a Charizard. And, whatever.
And to the second part of the question, would you be going back to the mediocrity portion with the world, or do you have a different answer for that?
I think with the world, I think I would want to change something for the world. I'd want to increase knowledge and education worldwide. And not only that, but, okay, high school was stupid.
Yeah.
And I might get flack for this. I don't care. High school, I love math. I love science.
Yeah.
I'm very good at both. Nobody I know will argue with that. But I'm not entirely sure why, trigonometry and BC calculus was more important than learning how to file taxes.
Yeah, or balance a checkbook or anything like that.
And even driving. And some high schools have, driver's ed as an elective, but ours didn't.
Back when our parents were kids, especially up north where my parents were, it wasn't an elective, it was a requirement. Everybody did it in school.
Home economics and just general life 101. These things need to be core classes. There's, all the math, science, literacy / language arts, and social studies that you will ever use in your adulthood, unless your career goes into a very specialized subsect of one of those.
But that's also why we have secondary schools.
Well,
and stuff like that
and
too.
That's why college is a thing.
Yeah.
But with high school, it's my biggest issue with public schools is high school, in the sense that all the math, science, basic stuff that you'll need to know, you have already learned by 8th grade.
Oh yeah.
You'll need to know how to solve for X for certain things, if you're doing a project, but another one of my issues with math class specifically, was the ever common excuse of math teachers. You'd ask them, why do we need to learn this, and they'd retort, well, you won't always have a calculator in your pocket. Well, spoilers, kids.
You do.
Now you do. Now everyone has smartphones.
Well, even then, before that, most of our regular phones had pocket calculators.
Yeah, but now our smartphones has full on TI 80 million.
But their excuse didn't even work then.
Yeah.
Because who needs advanced algebraic calculators in their everyday life?
Yeah, but even for the people who do need them, they have one in their pocket.
Yeah.
So it's the focus on mental math and even Common Core math, which by the way,
Common Core is one of the single worst things that ever happened to mathematics in school.
Yeah, it is. And I like the concept of Common Core, but just
the execution is the problem. Yeah.
Because back when we were in school, if we had a problem, we could go to our parents or family, whatever. Nowadays, our parents don't even know how the hell to do it. So it's because with Common Core, it's parents are just what the fuck is this? I know a lot of friends who have kids, and they brought home homework that as early as 1st, 2nd grade, and even I'm just looking at it I know how to do it, but this is incredibly convoluted.
Yeah, because most of them aren't going to be like you and I, who like to keep ourselves educated throughout the rest of our life and stuff like that.
But even then, it's I love being educated. I love educating myself. I love learning. But I will be the first to admit that I have not actually had to use half the stuff I've learned on...
I use algebra every day, because if they taught it right, you'd realize that algebra is not just a math thing, it's a way of problem solving in the world.
Yeah.
But again, you learn most of that by 8th grade, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Once we get into trigonometry stuff, it's oh, that's cool to know, but I have no reason to use this outside of personal engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, like if you get into engineering, a little bit of some programming languages, many actually, these things are important. But most people aren't doing that, and even if they are going into
and if you were a plumber or carpenter back in the day, you would need it, but now you could just take the bottom of your sink and bring it to Home Depot, and they'll give you the matching part.
Yeah, and if they're getting into STEM fields, that's what college is for.
Yeah.
So it's like with high school, I think it'd be a lot more important to focus less on the core classes, more on physical education, which I'm a complete hypocrite for saying because I managed to weasel my ass out of a fucking gym, but and fitness gram tests. Anyway,
and they also...
Hey, kids, you think I'm fat now? Anyway,
yeah.
But there's also less focus on math, science, social studies, and language arts, and more focus on...
things you need to learn in the world.
Yeah, like learning how to file taxes, tax returns,
Maybe actually learning how our electoral system works.
Yeah, like an actual information on the electoral college.
Yeah.
How exactly the votes are calculated, because it's not a popular vote thing.
No, it's not.
It's something completely
That's why
different.
people think, oh, Gary Johnson can totally win. So Gary Johnson could get 60% of the votes and still lose because of the way our system works.
And not only that, but just taxes, how to apply for a loan. Because it's really weird for me, because high school really seemed like it was readying people for college, but it didn't bother to mention the actual important things. Like, for college, you're going to want to know how to take out a loan.
Oh, definitely.
And school never actually teaches you how to take out a loan.
Because they figure your parents will know.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
but not everybody's parents have been through that situation. A lot of us are have renters and stuff like that.
Yeah, and not to mention a lot of people are the first of their family tree to actually go to college.
Yeah.
So like a lot of their parents don't actually know this stuff. So there's that. Learn how to take out and pay off a loan.
Learn how to apply for jobs properly. Speech class kind of did that, but it cut corners and everything.
Like actual interview 101, interview etiquette. Also just general housekeeping, chores.
Yeah.
Or not like chores, but like
typical maintenance of stuff.
Keeping a list of things you need to keep, up to date on and sticking to it. And I feel that, all of those, daily things that we actually benefit from on a day-to-day basis.
And they'll give you the excuse that your parents should be teaching this, but the whole point to expanding school that we have is because there are more and more families where both members of the family are working now, or also single parents who have to work. And that's why school started encompassing more stuff, but we're not encompassing more of the right stuff is the problem.
And so I think that's my main problem with public school and society in general. Like, we're overeducated on things that don't matter and undereducated on things that do.
And I also think, as much as we also need to be taking religious agendas out of schools, which we've been doing fine for a while and still need to keep doing that, pushing harder, we need to take away political agendas from school.
Yeah.
Because I most of us fall right in the center. If you're a rational person, you'll fall right in the center of the spectrum. But the far left liberals hold control of schools.
Well...
especially colleges. Not so much high schools.
Colleges, maybe.
Not so much high schools, but definitely colleges.
Though, on that note...
and I think we just need to take away all sides of the spectrum. Let people neutrally learn everything.
In an objective environment. But also, hi kids, we live in the Bible Belt. So let's talk about sex education.
Oh, that's the one part where conservatives own it.
If you have sex, your dick will fall off and you'll die. Congratulations, enjoy hell. That is literally what sex ed is here. Like, they didn't teach a damn thing about condoms. They just showed pictures of penises and vaginas with AIDS. Like it's just like, hey kids, you want to see Blue Waffle? Hey, and it's just it's sad.
Because we'd have less of a problem. And I'm not one that, and you're probably the same too. Don't, because you are not a virgin. But you don't care about the whole wait till marriage thing. I don't care.
I don't care.
But I do agree with the wait till you're ready thing, and that's the thing they should be teaching, not the don't do it at all.
Yeah. See, okay. We're gonna speak scientifically speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is right.
Yeah.
But, well, I'm gonna skip that. I was gonna go tell.
Because you dip into pedophilia areas.
Yeah,
I've had the same talks with people too.
Because sex ed happens, around middle school.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's be honest, middle schoolers are having sex.
Yeah. Some of them are, not all of them, but some.
Not all of them, but it's like, you need to instruct them early, because if you just tell them no, fun fact, kids, teenagers are rebels. Yeah. If you tell them not to do something, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
So, if you tell them not to have sex, but you don't teach them how to have safe sex, that just means that they're gonna have unsafe sex.
Yeah.
So, how about we, I don't know, not be stupid about that?
Yeah.
And teach condoms, birth control, and then from there, actually make these things actually available to people.
Yeah. Well, and also, I agree with not fear tactics, but rationally explaining the diseases and stuff, you can get it. Because if you say, wait till you're ready, and then, oh yes, these birth controls can help prevent this, people will be less likely to do it before they can get access to the birth control,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a matter of, being ready, physically, mentally, yada yada. But I think if you make it too, accessible sounding, they'll be peer pressured into it. We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that either.
Don't let anyone tell you that you're ready to have sex.
Yeah, and also we also need to, in schools, show you're financially ready, because even the best birth controls can still fail.
Yeah, and I mean, I am pro-choice. Yeah. I feel that, a woman who is pregnant has the right to get an abortion. I'm not going to really, get into that. I think that, look, we live in a world where we literally cannot, take out organs from corpses to save lives. So why the hell are we, mandating these things onto a live woman?
Yeah.
You literally have to sign up to be a post-mortem donor.
Yeah, my problem with the thing, and at the current point I'm pro-choice because it doesn't directly affect me.
Yeah.
And if I was in that circumstance, I wouldn't be in that circumstance unless I was financially ready to have a child anyway, so I wouldn't need an abortion. And here's the big fact. If you make inner city areas have a higher rate of living and people have more money, they're less likely to get abortions. Yeah. That's just a proven fact. The thing is, with the whole debate of whether it should be allowed or not, is a scientific debate, and nobody's arguing it from a scientific portion. It's debating on whether that thing inside of them is actually a human or not yet. That's the debate, and nobody's debating that. If you want to bring that debate, I'll be fine to hear it, but everybody's bringing it from either a religious or an anti-religious point.
And from that perspective, is it a human? Sure, but
because if it is a human, right? If it is 100% a human.
Oh, it's not 100% human.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is a human being in development.
If you can find a point to where it's also 100% human, if they're during the third trimester or something, if there is at ever a point.
Abortions at the third trimester. I'm not gonna say that under no circumstance should be allowed, but
if something is a full human, then it has to have human rights under the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's the only point that I argue. If at any point you can prove that it's a full human, then it gets human rights. If it's not, then it doesn't have human rights.
And I feel if we're going to go this far, let pregnant women, drive in the HOV lane without a passenger. Because they have a passenger. I know that in the, what was it, Lacey Peterson? Some dude killed his pregnant girlfriend and got charged with double murder.
Yeah.
That counted as two people. Depending on how the law works, it can be either one person or two people. It's because
it's really weird that we're not standardized across
it's inconsistent. And I think honestly, if I'm being honest, not all pregnancies result in birth.
No, a lot of them end up in miscarriages.
A lot of them are miscarriages, stillbirths, whatever. So
even in the later. The third trimester.
So you argue that that there's a person in there. Well, yeah, but that person isn't But honestly, another problem I have is that a lot of the conservatives who are pro-life. We're going off on a tangent, but I don't care.
This whole thing has been tangents. I know. That's how this goes.
But I just want to see consistency.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they're all like, oh, that human being's life is so precious, and then it's born.
But we should fry this one.
And then it's born, and they're just like, oh, wait, you want me to help, with my taxes on that? Oh no, you can do that on your own, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you care so much about the life, but then once it actually happens, it could die for all you care. then I don't think you actually care about the life.
Well, see,
you care about controlling the woman.
And that's like that with every major group. And it's not like all conservatives. Most people, like, actually, I believe most people in the world fall in the center. But
most
tribe mentality comes involved. And that's why people start spitting things that maybe they don't even really believe.
But again, it's not all conservatives. For example, my granddad, I know for a fact, does not have a moral... I shouldn't really say that on live TV, but whatever.
No, but he doesn't press his opinions on you.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I might.
But what I'm getting at is that mostly it's politicians know buzzwords and things that they can throw out to people. And then people the tribe mentality kicks in.
Because like pro-life.
Because most of these politicians don't give a shit about anything they say.
Well, it's like pro-life on paper is admirable because you care about the life.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that are pro-life suddenly don't care once they're actually born.
It's like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, right?
Yeah.
They care about these cop shootings, even though most of them are justified. We have proofs that most of them are. But then they don't care. There's just as many... Actually, there's even more white people that get killed by the cops in the same circumstances every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think... Okay... I'm going to say that Black Lives Matter is an important thing that needs to be there.
Yeah.
Because everyone who says that all lives matter I don't
say that in response.
Oh no, I made this Facebook rant a while back, and where it's like, if you feel the need to say all lives matter to the phrase Black Lives Matter, but you're perfectly content with the phrase Blue Lives Matter, then that means that the operative word was black. You're probably a racist. And that's kind of what goes into it. Like, black lives honestly have not mattered to these people and these people being...
Like, I think we should just drop all the pretexts and just say lives matter.
Well,
it's
not that simple. No.
I'm just saying, like, we should have always been like that from the beginning.
From the beginning, yes. But, that's an ideal world we don't live in.
Yeah.
Because, people say that, hashtag all lives matter... didn't actually...
Well, what are you even doing with a hashtag anyway? You're not supporting anything.
Exactly, but hear me out. Some people who say, hashtag all lives matter, don't actually care for all lives matter.
No, they don't.
All lives, because, these are the same people who, tend to, think that, slavery wasn't that bad.
No, slavery was awful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, did Black Lives Matter in, the 1850s?
But
the Black Lives Matter...
Right?
Like, no, because... These old people that are just like, back in my day...
It's still a consistency problem. It's all a consistency problem.
Well, it is, because, like, back in the 50s, these same people would bitch. They'd be like, oh, get over racism. Back in my day, we weren't bitches about this. Back in your day, if a black guy drank from your water fountain,
you'd cry. The point I'm getting at, right, with the Black Lives Matter movement, is that they're focused on this one little thing when it's not even the greatest detriment to black lives.
Yeah.
In fact, black neighborhoods are the greatest detriment to black lives.
Though, on that note, like, okay, let's take two very stereotypical names, Tyrone and Jamal.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dante86, I love you, but I'm sorry.
Jamal's cool.
So, we have, let's say Tyrone shoots Jamal.
Mm-hmm.
Rest in peace. Tyrone gets caught by the police and goes to jail for life.
Yeah.
Like, justice is done. Like, a life is taken, another life is taken to jail, the murderer's incarcerated and possibly even killed.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's fair, but, it's a bad situation all around, whatever. When a cop, Officer Bob, kills Jamal, Officer Bob and his family are given a paid vacation to Disneyland.
Or he gets his pension early because he was laid off but he still gets his pension.
Yeah, it's administrative leave.
See, I agree that that's a problem, but I don't agree that the problem is a racism problem, because the same officers are getting the same treatment when they kill white people as well and everything like that. It's a problem with the police force as a whole.
You're right, and it comes down to accountability.
Yeah.
Like, if police are supposed to act as not only protectors but also to lead by example, they should be held to the same, if not even greater accountability and standards as we are. Mm-hmm. So if they commit a crime, they should actually get it a hell of a lot worse than a civilian.
Yeah, because my personal opinion, once you put that badge on, or it's actually more of a card now in your pocket, you actually say that the lives of the people you're protecting and serving are worth more than yours while you have that badge on.
Yeah, and it's like...
It's a choice.
I respect the police force, I respect the military.
Oh yeah, I do too.
But I have absolutely zero respect for the people who get into these groups and then abuse their powers. Like, a police officer, a standard run-of-the-mill dumb dozen police officer is armed with a lethal firearm, stun gun, a riot stick, a number of things, lethal and non-lethal. Like, you can shoot somebody with a taser and knock them out, but it wouldn't kill them. Now, honestly, if they had, like, a pacemaker or something, that might be something, but...
And like we're saying, everything I've wrong, it's a problem with consistency, because when this stuff started up with the whole Boston riots and stuff, well, you look at the majority of the Boston police force, and the people killing people are black, they have a black mayor and stuff. It's nothing to do with racism, it's a corruption thing. It's at the force itself.
Yeah, though, I do think that... And you're right. Like, I think that, but... I think that the hashtag All Lives Matter people...
Oh, no, I agree with that part.
Yeah, because, I've actually seen more of them talk about the deaths of white... I've seen Black Lives Matter people mourn the loss of white people more than the All Lives Matter people. The All Lives Matter people are there just to, be subtly racist. That's all they're...
Because I'll only bring it up as a form of, we need to bring up the statistics if we're going to look at this objectively.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those lives are more important than the other lives or not, but we have to look at the statistics objectively.
Yes, like, strictly speaking, yes, all lives matter, but nobody's questioning...
It's the people that are using it that are the problem.
It's like, nobody's questioning that white lives matter, but, white lives have always been, considered superior, we have the majority, we have the most voting power, we have the most money, we have the most, everything, and black neighborhoods and black schools... black communities, are under, their...
Yeah, and a lot of that's a cultural problem, too.
Yeah, and it's...
and a lot of problems is the fact that they don't have enough police forces in the area, because businesses don't feel safe going in to make the investment to make the areas better. It's a multi-layer problem that you have to look at it from all the areas, but nobody wants to. They just want to pick and choose this one thing. And that's the problem with all of these movements. The people who make a hashtag, the people who make a counter hashtag, these people who aren't even being activists and they're just posting on Twitter and stuff like that. They want to...
I can't help but notice that your hand actually gets into, like, my square.
Oh, yeah.
So,
they're getting into your personal space.
Hi, we're actually on the same
I think
couch.
they could tell that, especially if they're regular viewers of the normal broadcast. It's the couch.
Yeah, the couch.
The couch.
Man, I don't want to know what's on. It's not black, so we're good.
But, it's the problem with all Activision. They cherry pick one thing, and it's back to what you're saying. It's consistency.
Yeah.
Nobody's consistent across the board, period. None of them are.
Yeah.
And I think if we're going to be consistent, we can't just cherry pick things. We have to look at all of the factors that are involved into everything.
Though there is one problem I have with the Black Lives Matter, and that's the fact that it's considered its own organization.
Yeah, it has become an organization now.
Because, like...
And in some parts of the organization, they have basically become a terrorist organization.
Yeah, there are radical members that get a little... They're like third-wave feminists, but for,
with
racial...
guns.
But with the racial issue. So it's like, instead of, chopping all the men's dicks off...
They just want to kill all cops, and some of them all white people.
Kill white cops, and,
Yeah, there's actually a story I read not too long ago, at the Calgary Sun, right? And... Yeah, but it's up in Canada.
Canada doesn't have these...
Oh, they do have these problems, right? So...
Oh, yeah, it's Calgary. Alberta's basically the Texas of Canada.
Yeah. So, there was a court case that was thrown out because a black woman punched a white woman in the face while screaming, "I hate white people." They'd never met before that. And the judge said that this was not a hate crime, and throughout the whole case.
Pretty sure that would be a hate crime.
Yeah, if you scream, "I hate this type of person," and then attack that type of person said you hate.
There was a time, I'm not saying this makes it acceptable, but there was a time where a black girl actually did punch me in the face. This was in high school, obviously.
Yeah.
And it was obviously racial motivated because, cracker was thrown out. And I laughed. Like, I was the victim of racism, but I couldn't be asked to care. Yeah, no. See,
I'm growing up in a
and I guess that is in itself, white privilege. I guess. I mean, I'm not saying that, hey man, that's gonna make background noise.
Yeah. I know.
But I'm not saying I'm not privileged. I understand the concept of privilege, and I understand it to the bare minimum, which in itself gives off an aura of privilege.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. But once you start acting all Tumblr about it, like, hey, check your privilege and go fuck yourself.
Well, a lot of the privilege is even less to do with race. Like, there is some.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it to do with class.
Well,
because
yeah,
if you look at trailer parks, there's just as much profiling of people in trailer parks. There's just as much crime that happens.
Yeah.
People who don't have opportunities resort to crimes, and areas that are high crime, people get profiled more.
And the only example of white trailer trash that isn't poor right now that we can think of is Marshall Mathers.
Yeah. But he got out of it. That's the thing. And that's the same. A lot of these rappers talk about the poor things that happen to them, but they're privileged now because they have lots of money and,
It's funny because a lot of them now have never actually lived like Drake.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
you grew up on Degrassi.
You were on Degrassi. You're the wheelchair kid. Shut the hell up.
He was
started from the bottom. What the hell are you talking about? It
started from the bottom of the acting area. He started on commercials and stuff. You want to talk about that, but not like
he's never had the authentic struggle.
Yeah.
Like, get the shit out of here.
And even, like, you go back to the people who were straight out of Compton, most of their songs were talking about get out of Compton and don't stay in that struggle. Choose to leave it.
Yeah.
It's a class thing, and that's the biggest problem. And it's like, people have this problem with gentrification. On paper, it seems bad, but in practice, it makes areas better, which increases the rate of living.
Though I think that... So, ultimately, I think we can agree that police are a good thing. But...
they need to be held to a higher standard.
Yes. They need to be accountable, and I think they also need to be subject to, like, a lot of more mental...
evaluations.
Yeah, evaluations.
Because you could start out good and change at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. So you have to
especially because, on the force, you're going to see some life-changing shit. Like, the instant you have to take somebody's life, legitimate criminal life or death situation, you're going to be changed.
Killing a person changes you.
Yes, it does.
Some more dramatically than others, but there still is a change.
And it's like, as long as you have that gun, as long as you have the ability to take lives, you need to be held to very high standards of mental evaluation.
And they have 5-year checkups, but a lot can happen in between 5 years.
5 years is stupid. Like, 5 years is the...
We're talking like maybe like a 6-month checkup, or even 3 months.
I'd go 3 months.
Yeah, even a 3-month checkup, man.
With, like, a temporary phase of, like, very often ones after something has happened.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to have evaluations after something happens every time, but sometimes people find loopholes to get out of it.
Yeah, no loopholes. If you're willingly trying to get out of those evaluations,
you need it even more.
There's a red flag there in itself.
Yeah.
But police are a good concept, and in most cases they prevent crime more than they commit.
Yeah.
With that said,
even
taking out race, class, they need to be held to a higher standard.
Because of police killing anybody when it's not justified, period, even if it's just
as
low as, let's say, out of the hundreds that happen a year, we'll say the unjustified ones, because there are a lot of people reaching for stuff and blah. Even if it was only 25 people a year out of the millions, that's still too much. Yeah.
Though,
and that's why I think body cams are a good idea, because a good cop would not object to a body cam.
Yeah, and there's also... it's kind of scary when you think about it, because one of my friends from the Duncanville school district, when I got expelled from Byrd Middle School, I had actually gotten into a fight with a teacher in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And blood was drawn on both ends. He slammed me into the wall, and, after the fact, I think I gave off the best fucking one-liner in history. And I was just saying, well, the wall tasted better than the food in the cafeteria.
It's probably true.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very true. Hey, at least I had fun. Like, I got my teeth slammed into a wall, but
yeah,
there's
something out of it. Yeah.
You can't tell me with a straight face that was not the most exciting thing to happen in that cafeteria all fucking year.
Yeah.
I was part of it, you weren't, suck it. But no, it's kind of scary because a lot of people advocate for, like, teachers having guns. And, like, on one end, I get the reasoning. Because obviously kids can get unruly, but, and, obviously, not even the kids, but, people, breaking into the school.
Yeah.
And this is...
Or even instance like bringing up Columbine and stuff like that,
Yeah. Like, because this is colleges and schools of all ages where, a gunman...
could be anywhere.
Yeah, and I get that logic, but then I remember, back in school, I was a little shit.
Yeah.
And I pissed off so many teachers. I pissed off so many personnel, and there were times where some of them had to actually wrestle me to the ground.
Yeah.
Because, I wasn't really what I'd say a pacifist. I had anger issues, but I took it out on myself. Like, I'd hit myself.
Yeah.
I would smash my head into a wall or the desk. I'd look retarded, but it beats beating somebody else.
Yeah, you were a principled masochist.
We'll roll with that.
Yeah.
Like, I was just, I would rather take my rage out on myself because I can take it better than most of my peers.
Yeah.
That's just fact. So, I did that, and then, some of them would, wrestle me to the ground, and, protocol, it hurt like hell, but, I mean, it was protocol, I wasn't in any immediate danger. You give these people guns, and it's like, what would that mean for me if I was in that situation?
Yeah.
Now, like, would they be, real guns? Would I be actually shot with real bullets for, acting out, for, looking like I was being a menace to the class?
Yeah, and that's the problem, too, especially the problem with a lot of cops now are, they're not shooting to detain, they're shooting to kill.
Yeah.
But that's a problem with most people in general. We live in such a paranoid state that nobody's going to be shooting to detain. Nobody's going to be doing something that's non-lethal. They're going to be shooting to kill.
Yeah, and that's... Man, even stormtroopers shot to stun.
Yeah.
And they're literally Nazis.
They are literally Nazis.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
But, jokes aside...
I mean, I wouldn't mind, because I don't even think, maybe, that most of the officers walking schools should have their guns on them. I understand their circumstances,
officers...
but they should have crowd control.
Yeah, like, I like the idea of, like, teachers maybe having, I wouldn't even say, like, tasers or, tear gas.
Like a beanbag gun.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with a beanbag gun, because that's not... I mean, you could get a concussion, but most of the time it's going to hit center mass.
Yeah, like, if a beanbag gun hit me literally anywhere at that age, it wouldn't have hurt. It would have just,
Yeah.
It would have been like, okay, fine, I'll stop. I'll calm down. Jesus fucking Christ. But,
like, I'm a small guy. It probably would have knocked me off my feet if I wasn't paying attention, but I would have gotten back up,
And they're good as, not necessarily one shot. I mean, they're good for one shots.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like, stop. I don't want to, do that again.
Yeah.
But, though, I also remember a video where, like, these two girls were, like, about to get in a little cat fight in the school hallway, and then, like, the police guard just tackled both of them, like, out of fucking nowhere, like he's fucking Reinhardt. Like, just... and, like, I just... That bugged me, because, like, these are two little skinny-ass little white girls.
You could have just held them by the collars and pulled them apart.
Like, that, but no, like, this guy, like, tackled both of them, like... Just, like, was that necessary?
And you wouldn't even had to attack. You probably could have just, like, walked up and pushed them and they would have fell over just the same. Like,
yeah, just, like...
Overkill.
Just, like, walk over to them, stare at them menacingly like a fucking JoJo's villain. Don't get the hint. Let's be like, oh, maybe we should not do this. No, okay. You gotta tackle them.
We have to admit,
ground.
some of the schools that we went to, there were some girls...
Yes.
That would not have done anything unless you tackled them.
You're right.
There are some. Those two might have been the exception, but... Especially where we were.
Yeah, and not to mention, in Cedar Hill High School, there were a lot of race wars.
Yeah.
The cafeteria,
the girls were more catty than the guys.
They were. I like to not to erase those memories.
Yeah.
To kind of...
I tried it, but, like...
It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean...
I remember one time for my brother, back in Perimeter when he was there. Right? They said if there was, like, 6 fights in the day, so if there was one more fight, we're shutting the school down. And then in between the next to last and last period, there was one more fight, and they decided, screw it, we're just going to run the last period. 7 fights in one day. Half of them were girls.
That wouldn't even be a record.
I know. No, I'm just saying, like, that's the norm.
Yeah. And, like, it's... That's another problem with our school system, like...
There's no power anymore. You can't tell somebody no.
Yeah, and that comes from an entitlement, This is the yes generation. Don't get me wrong, I can't say that because, again, I was very, very, very hard to actually, discipline. And as I went in earlier, like my mom, she could say no, but if it was something that was in my control, if she couldn't, like, keep me from something that I owned,
yeah,
like, I was just crafty like that. But, a lot of people, there's just... Again, my mom usually, if my mom didn't say yes, my granddad did.
Yeah.
And if he didn't say yes, my grandmother did. And I was a spoiled brat. But I also can tell from firsthand, just how bad being a spoiled bitch really can be. And if you're too entitled, once you get, acquainted to the real world, it's not a very nice...
And that's why I think we should be harsher in high school so people can be acquainted with the real world.
I mean, honestly, I think we should be...
It's not even that you can't say no anymore. You're not even allowed to yell at an abrupt child. You can get written up for that.
Yeah.
If somebody's being loud and disruptive, you can't be like, no, to the principal's office or anything.
And it is very strange. It's very foreign
it's
to me
even...
Because, no, because,
more than when we were.
Well, yeah, because back when I was in school,
yeah,
there were times where, the teachers, actually had to throw hands.
Yeah.
And, I bled.
Yeah.
And I was in pain. But in their defense, because now looking back at it now, I can see from a teacher's standpoint, they see a raging, screaming, very large student because...
Who could be a danger to the other students around them.
And the teachers, for that matter. Because even in 7th, 8th grade, I was bigger than most of the teachers.
Yeah.
I was probably... obviously misunderstood.
Yeah.
But, looking back at it now, I really can't blame them for being scared when I got on outrage. Because even though I knew that I wasn't going to hurt anyone, because the most I would do is hurt myself, they still see a yelling, screaming giant...
Yeah.
Who clearly needs different medication, and they're just like, how do we deal with this? Because the teacher can't wrestle me down.
Mm-hmm.
The kids obviously can't wrestle me down. If I get momentum, I can actually hurt everyone in the room. I would not.
You're gonna have to call the police officer.
Yeah, and it's like, and I kind of wonder, what if I would have actually made it out in one piece going into school now?
Yeah.
Because not only is creativity even more discouraged now, with the Common Core shit being taught as early as kindergarten, but with the stricter physical punishments.
Yeah.
And not only, or rather, the complete lack of them, because...
And it's not even just, even the lack of verbal punishment, too.
Yeah, it's like, I needed to have been told no in those circumstances. I needed to have been restrained. I needed to be, thrown into a wall. Because, I mean, I'm not sure if I was really a danger to anybody, but I can definitely perceive it. If I was in their shoes and I saw a raging giant...
You would do the same thing.
I would do the same thing. And, not to mention, I wasn't exactly small. I was a giant, I could take that. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with, them throwing little, smaller people into walls. Obviously, when I was in 1st or 2nd grade... I was still pretty big. I could probably have handled kissing the wall. But
most people wouldn't.
But most people at that age, that gives you brain trauma.
That's another thing. You should never use more than necessary.
Well, yeah, and defining necessary can be kind of tricky.
It can be
because again, I was young, I was a child, but I was already like 200 pounds.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have officers roaming the wall. Hopefully, if they are to the standard they should be able to discern based on the weight of the person and stuff what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because most officers, this is their job. They have to judge the weight of people all the time.
Because not only because in weight, not only do you have to be kind of harsher for heavier people, you also have to keep in mind okay.
What might they do to me?
Well, not only that, but if they're too fat, you can accidentally suffocate them if you're on them the wrong way.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I kind of have to keep in mind.
We have to wrap this up so we can move on to.
Oh well, okay. You know what?
Finish your notion on that.
Fast forward, sound effect, blah blah blah. Carry on.
Oh, okay.
Next question.
Well, I'll keep it all in here. This is going up the way it is raw, but...
Well,
I just...
I think I was wrapping that up. I didn't really know how to segue into the ending, but, whatever.
Yeah, no, but I think all really good points brought up, too. Where do you see yourself in several years down the line?
Hopefully working on lab rats, officially. Having a small team.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a bigger presence in the competitive fighting game community. If not competitive, then, maybe something like what Maximilian has, where he's like a gateway to the casual to competitive.
Yeah.
He's very entertaining but informative.
And he's even often called on to do commentation and stuff too.
I would really like to do something like what Max does.
See, I would like to And this is the reason I would put time in. It's like, I don't care about the competition, you know? Like, I don't care about winning and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like to practice enough that I can learn everything, because I like commentating. And commentating is a fun thing. I would love to be able to get in that. But I don't think you should commentate if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, and I figure that if I was like a Max Junior like figure in the community, you know, I could get around, I can, you know, do a lot of networking, and I could also what's the word? Hold on, let me check my vocabulary. I could pitch lab rats to people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could build a team from there, get some play testers, and altogether, you know, really set my game up for combo videos, make those a lot more regularly. Just generally kind of like because I really like being a community guy, because, you know, as a moderator on GameFAQs, you know, it's just something I really enjoy doing. I like being a moderator. I like being like a community leader, somebody who people can. I should probably be louder because I don't know if the mic's handling this.
It's picking it up. There's no music or anything in the background, so I mean, people can turn it up if they want. But yeah, if you project more, it'd probably help.
All right. Well, so as a GameFAQs moderator, I really like being a community leader. You know, kind of like someone who people can come to ask questions, and just general, you know, but also to shoot the shit with. You know, there are a lot of people who have actually challenged me. The you know, fighting games, just for the novelty of, you know, playing a GameFAQs moderator. And it's a lot of fun, because I also kick their asses. And they also have to, you know, admit to everyone that, I got my ass kicked by a moderator. But aside from that, you know, it's just...
And there's also those people in the in-group who always challenge you to games that they have no business challenging you to.
Yeah. Anyway. So... I don't think he's going to watch this anyway.
Probably not.
But
especially the longer it gets, the less likely people are to watch at least all the way through.
How far are we in?
We are 2.5 hours in.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and we still have a block to go.
What's the other block?
Well, actually, technically we have 2 blocks, but the last one's shooting the shit. We can always cut that short. Right. I have one more question in this block, and then I have some things I call defining questions.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're gonna up in the future.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this job goes, I like to stay as a community manager and some kind of presence on the internet and the fighting game community.
Mm-hmm.
Make combo videos, do something. You know, like it doesn't have to be, you know, in the spotlight. It doesn't have to be in the competitive spotlight, commentator, whatever. But I would like to commentate some more local things. I'd like to host more local events.
Yeah.
Because I used to do some of those fairly often, but I've just, you know...
Oh, we're actually, around Halloween time, planning on throwing another one here.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to help out with that.
I can do that. But, just having some kind of presence.
Yeah.
And hopefully getting somewhere in lab rats. I don't think my computer job will really go away. That's just something I've been doing off and on since, 2006. So, yeah, that's about where I'd like to be.
Yeah.
As far as, like, personal life, I'd like to have a girlfriend, but unfortunately I am ugly, so it's not gonna...
Well, you can always supplement that with money.
I could, but the fighting game community doesn't have money with it. It's like...
Oh, well, see, then you can supplement that with skill. But that means you still have to get better than you are right now.
But then that also means that I'd have to supplement a lot of things with luck.
Yeah, I know.
Because, like, I have terrible luck, I have okay money, I have okay skill. Now... honestly, though, jokes aside, women are not exactly on my radar right now.
Yeah.
I could be happy and single for the next...
I'm one of those guys that thinks you should get your own life together before...
I mean, that's the thing. That. I kind of have my life together. It's like, I think I'm ready for a, emotional, committed relationship. But it's just like... relationships are great and all, but just...
But they take time away from projects and stuff, too.
Yeah.
So lab rats would suffer.
Yeah,
more,
though,
and...
I think that if I found somebody who would, be really supportive of it, and might even help with it...
See, that would be the preferred thing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
That's its own,
Well, maybe you can find a really dedicated fighting game fan who is athletic and does martial arts and can do your mocapping for you.
Yeah, I don't...
If you're out there, keep in mind...
Yes, I'm Duncanville's most eligible bachelor. I'm not really.
No,
I'm not the least eligible.
Definitely
bachelor.
not. I mean,
but
look at Duncanville as a whole. That's competition for least eligible is even close. I mean,
yeah. So I'm on the halfway point.
No, you're probably a little higher than halfway looking at Duncanville.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I've got more pros and cons, but this isn't really eHarmony though, so I'm gonna cut that short.
Yeah.
I think that finishes out that question though.
Yeah, it does. And the most important, and this probably even goes back to the last part. When was the last time someone hugged you? It's always the most depressing question I ask people.
Actually, I don't want to name drop her, but you know her.
You don't have to name drop, but yeah.
But you know her.
Just timeline, that's all we're looking at.
I was hanging out with Olivia, and I hugged her.
Alright.
So, that was like a week ago.
A week ago?
Ish.
That's not bad. It's actually better than any of the previous answers we've gotten for this.
Yes, I'm the king of hugs!
So far.
Damn it.
Next guest might say, 3 minutes before I left. Or before I hopped on Skype.
Oh, well. Yeah, but they're using Skype, so I get the moral victory.
Yeah, probably. You probably won't be the last one to come in person, but definitely the first, and it'll probably be a while till somebody else comes on. So now we're in the defining questions. It's almost, and I kind of do this with everybody too, but I'll change the stuff we're asking.
Right.
Kind of like the opposite of what I asked before, except we don't necessarily need the why. You can go short into it, but these are kind of just down the list.
Alright.
Peach or Daisy?
Daisy.
Daisy? Tetris or Puzzle League?
Puzzle League.
Jameson Price or Troy Baker?
Ooh! Actually, that's easy. Jameson Price.
Jameson Price. Okay.
Troy Baker went Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, technically, Price was Hollywood. He was in The Patriot. He only had
Yeah, but he's modest.
Yeah. I'm not answering that.
I'm not either.
Beach resort or ski resort?
I'd have to go with, ski resort.
Ski resort. Steampunk or cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk.
For fun or for glory? Not necessarily Smash, but just period. They can keep knocking. I'm not answering.
For fun.
For fun. Favorite band? Or artist, doesn't necessarily have to be a band, but...
Chopin.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Hello.
We're recording. Favorite movie?
This is gonna be such a weird contrast with Chopin as my favorite musician.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Animal House.
Well, yeah, that is a weird contrast. No, go. Sorry, people. We're basically the neighborhood stop. So sometimes when regulars come in, they just do it.
And it's
anyway.
not even a real Pokestop.
Yeah.
That's discouraging.
Favorite book?
Return of the King.
Return of the King? That's a good choice. I think only one person who's been on has said something that wasn't in the Tolkien Legendarium, so it's very common. Just well-written books, so it's hard not to pick one. Favorite game? Not series, specific.
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask. It's a good choice. I always have a toss-up on whether that one or Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda, so... favorite season? I'm not even going to be specific with that. Any type of season. Favorite season.
Winter, actually.
Winter, okay. I thought you were going to go with like a spice at first, but...
Yeah, I wanted to,
yeah,
but I'm going to,
Some people, because a lot of these questions I would, before we start running, because this is only third episode of the show, I would ask people, see if they're good questions, the type of responses I get from different people. I've actually had a couple people say, like, TV seasons and stuff like that, too. Like, that's an interesting answer I was not expecting from that.
I love the Legend of Zelda complete season.
Yeah.
The Firefly complete season.
And favorite flavor of soup? I have to throw a weird one in there somewhere.
Soup.
Yeah.
Super salad.
Super salad, okay.
That's just, it's
Yeah.
like No. That's wrong.
Because that's a place, but... Yeah.
I know, it's like super... Like, it's a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Favorite soup? Soup... I want to say Super Bowl, but I don't like the Super Bowl. I just pronounce it the Superb Al. But since soup is actually in Superb Al.
Okay.
That is my favorite soup. I don't like soup.
Okay.
I mean, you know... I have weeb tendencies where I get to, you know, order like udon.
Yeah.
But like it's not really like a flavor of soup.
Well, you know,
I mean, it is.
You eat ramen from time to time. I enjoy a good miso soup, but
see, I'm not.
Tomato
I'm not a full-time weeb, so I don't know all the different soups. But
well, I'm multicultural. I like all kinds of soups.
I like those homemade soups that I make where I just put, you know, everything I can.
Everything in there.
Yeah. That's you know, kind of spicy.
So kind of like a suicide drink at the fountain. We'll call it a suicide soup.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of hot shit, do you still have those
Yeah, I actually still have a couple of the scorpions. Why, you want one? We could do that for the shooting the shit section, and then I could crop that out to a separate video for you later.
Let's do it.
Okay, but I still have one more question for this section.
All right.
And how many miles, the maximum number of miles, would you be willing to walk for a free $100?
Do I get to play Pokemon Go while I'm doing it?
Sure, you can do whatever you want while doing it, but you have to walk these miles.
Whenever I pass out.
Just what the extent is?
Well, I guess whenever like my battery charger dies. I mean,
yeah.
Like all things considered, like can I run them?
Yeah, sure. You just have to go these miles.
I would actually I would commit to 10 miles.
10 miles?
Because
it's the average so far, yeah.
Because I'm not really used. I'm not you.
Yeah.
You know, you.
Because I walk everywhere. I'm a long distance walker.
Yeah, like I'm not.
I don't expect people to be like me.
But. Yeah, but 10 miles I could commit to that, and I would, as long as I had water.
Yeah.
You know, like Texas summer, 10 miles. I don't know about that, but like. Maybe like the fall.
I've done a good 20 miles in Texas summer, and it's just.
Yeah.
I had to have a destination to do it. I wasn't going to do that just for the heck of it.
Yeah, if even you don't want to do it for the heck of it, I'm not sure if I don't know. Okay.
We've had I think we got with heat index 110 recently within this week.
Yeah.
It was like a day ago or 2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, I was out there.
Okay, well, I will get that, and then we can shoot the shit, which is a section where you can talk about whatever you want.
Yay!
Even though it's probably going to be hard with this, because this is hotter than a ghost pepper.
Well, yeah, it's Scorpion, right?
Yeah, Trinidad Maruga Scorpion. Let's see if I can find where it is in here. Oh, here we go.
Are they dried?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I have quite a bit left.
You know,
camera.
See, they look like harmless grapes from here.
From here, yeah, but... And there's not a lot of powder on the bag, so I could pull out just a stuff. Or you can get it yourself, too, if you want.
Red tail. All right, kids. I guess this is the time where I finally eat one of these things with the camera.
Mm-hmm.
The Scorpion chili is now... The Scorpion chili is now ranked as the world's hottest chili. They will make your dish very, very hot.
Well, that's only because it's technically illegal to get a chocolate bootla right now.
It's simply painful and lastingly painful, but delicious. The Scorpion pepper is over 1,200,000 Scoville. I think I spelled that wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Units. Be very careful, a little goes a long way. You will feel like your tongue is stung by a red tail. May also cause you to have a red tail several hours after eating. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Why is it blurry? Oh, it's not. My eyes are just like... Is it blurry?
It's a tad bit, not too much.
Oh, it's worse.
I have autofocus off, I don't know.
Okay, because I just looked over there and was like, wait, why is it blurry? Oh my god.
Yeah.
My vision's supposed to be good. Okay.
No, because nothing else on the screen is blurry.
Ingredients: 100% Scorpion chilies. You spelled chilies wrong.
Yeah.
Warning: very hot. Do not eat peppers directly.
Nope. Going to. Alright, so moment of truth. Let's go.
Use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, real quick, yeah.
I might as well prepare some kind of water. Because, why not, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst I can have?
Shut
up. No, don't answer the question.
We have a registered EMT on site. Well, actually, he just walked out, but we have a registered EMT on site.
Huh?
We have a registered EMT on site.
Oh. So in case something happens...
Yeah, but he just walked out, so...
I'll be right back. I got to delay the live presentation, you understand?
I know. Oh, yes, we've been doing this for a while. If you've stuck around this long, mad props. You're either a fan of the show, the style, me, or my guest, and I thank you for coming along. I gotta fill the gap while he's out. I don't know if you're live or if you're watching this in post-recording, but it's been a pretty good show. We've probably talked about some controversial things, but I don't think our opinions on it are necessarily controversial because, like I said, our opinions are falling right in the middle of things. It's not really left or right, and I think most people are in the middle when it comes to stuff like that. And we've just talked about some oddly depressing stuff. So, thanks for sticking around, and you get a reward because he's gonna eat a really, really hot pepper. Yeah. Actually, I've not had one of these before. I've had a ghost pepper, but I have not had a scorpion. We mostly save these for special occasions and for rewards for the audience. I was going to do one if my computer ever got funded before, but it didn't. So you guys missed out on that. Actually, I was going to sing the poker rap while doing it, which was going to be even crazier. And since we saved these just for rewards for sitting through this so very long, Pitaya's going to award you.
Indeed I am. Are you going to have one too?
No.
Wow, not even you want one.
No. I mean, I save these for reward and punishment. So, and all people had opportunity to get me to do this if they wanted to fund my laptop that they never did, so shame on you. I know. Pick whichever one you want. Maybe one day. Actually, you know what? I might make that the reward for. We have a donations bar at the bottom of the Vomitorium. I might make that the reward.
That one's
for
small. I'll have the small. No.
Yeah, you can have a big one if you want, or a small one, whatever.
I'll take a small one because these are dried, and I can't say that I really like the super dry stuff.
Yeah, they get hotter when they're dried.
I know,
yeah.
But they also like flavor.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's all hot and no flavor, it's just like...
At this point, you might as well just ground it down for seasoning.
Should.
Yeah.
Do you want to stem with it? No, I don't.
Yeah. But that's what I'll do. I'll change the download the donations bar at the bottom of the Vomitorium to where I personally, not another member, will eat one or two of those if you complete the donation bar. It always takes a couple seconds or so to kick in. How's it going?
It's going all right.
It's going all right?
It's a little... It's not bad, you know? I mean... I just don't taste flavor is all.
Yeah, it's just nothing but the reaction, right?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do you need, well, water's actually usually bad for it. I don't have any milk for you.
I know you don't. That'd be too convenient.
Oh, yeah.
You got a bottle of water?
No, all we have is tap.
Sodas?
Nope. We're actually in between shopping right now. You caught us at the end of things. Which normally doesn't bother me because I just drink tap water all day.
I'll be right back, kids.
Well, I mean, no, let's just close it out.
Oh, no. I got water in my car.
Oh, okay. If you hurry. We're already on time as it is, you know? It's like, you want one too? No, man. If you guys want this, you'll earn it. Okay? Giving you stuff for free. I'm already giving you a show for free. And I'm going to tell him that Matthew's done this on camera, and he didn't even have a reaction. See how he feels about that. I can even go and pull up the archived footage of that to show him later, too. And if you've been in the chat, I'm sorry. In this show, we really don't interact with the chat unless maybe the guest is on or whatever, looking at it. It's not the point of the show, but thank you for being here. I'm actually going to take this time to see if I can find it in my subscriptions. Hop in and see how you guys are doing. See if there has been anybody. Do you get the chat on the...
Say what?
I'm trying to see if you get the chat. Okay, yeah, there's been nobody. But, wait, yeah, we have... Oh, hey! Aroma Comet was in the chat watching. So, there. It's like, I think I know who you're talking about, referring to the supplements comment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. If you're still there, I don't know, but... Yeah. Normally for these stuff, I like to keep the chat up on my phone, but I had my notes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, you should be... you should laugh. Matthew's done so many of the stuff, like different peppers and stuff. When he last did it on stream, he didn't have any reaction whatsoever. He's just become that tolerant to it. Like, I can see your eyes watering and stuff now. Yeah. None of that happened to him. Still, I'd be like, I know you like spicy stuff. You're taking it better than most people would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I didn't have a reaction last time I had a ghost pepper, but I know the difference. I definitely would have a reaction if I ate that.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's...
Yeah.
All right, so... It's not painful.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's very uncomfortable. Because, it's like the cinnamon challenge. Because it dries up your mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, that's the reason why I really like water for this, because even though it makes it hotter...
Some people, it's not just uncomfortable, but people who eat spicy stuff like us, that's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Some people, it is actually painful for the chemical reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why, you know what, if it might... Because the donation bar is set to, like, this really high thing right now, right? I think it's, like, 5,000.
For what?
It's just if people like the show to donate. There's no actual goal. But I will eat 5 of these all at once if the donation bar ever gets filled. It's a big amount of money. If it ever gets filled, I will eat 5 of these at once, all at the same time. Stem and all.
It hurts. It makes me want to throw up.
I know, but it's worth it for the donations, you know?
I guess.
And I will intentionally save 5 for just that.
You might as well just become a prostitute. You just want to throw your body around for money.
Yeah.
It's more uncomfortable than actually eating one. God damn.
Yeah, so, you know, that was your reward. This part's going to be clipped off. I'll send you the link. You can even feel free to put it on your own stuff if you want. I don't care. Yeah.
Why would you eat 5 of those?
For $5,000?
I don't think I'd do that for $5,000.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's like the worst diarrhea.
Oh, see, I don't really, even doing it crazy stuff, I've never had bowel problems. You know, I can even, like, eat authentic Mexican cuisine and stuff from the area. That doesn't bother me. I eat places that people say are going to give you... I never had bowel problems. But that's because I have irregular bowels as it is, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
Because, like...
If you need to, you can. But we should really start closing the show out. Because it has been quite a while.
Well, I need to throw up. And this is not the Vomitorium, so...
Yeah. So, I'm the Metal.
I'm Pitaya.
And thanks for joining us on this little not interview, as I like to call them. And we'll catch you next time.